All right, welcome Stunthangar fans. It's Monday night, and this is the Stunthangar video hangout where we'll talk about aeromodeling and whatever else you like to do in your shop with screwdrivers and hammers and paint and anything else that entertains you. And we'll talk about big stuff and little stuff, cars, planes, trains, automobiles, anything you want to talk about. Except this is the no news is good news zone. Some of it is kind of hard to avoid sometimes, but we try to keep that to a minimum and make this a place where you can come for a respite from all of that kind of junk and relax and have a good time. The link to the video section will be posted momentarily as soon as I finish my introductions. It'll be in the At the Bench thread on stunthangar.com forums, and that'll be on the main page. Under the open forum, scroll down until you see live streams, and there's a thread called At the Bench, and the first post in there will appear in a couple of minutes, and it'll have today's date in the title. You can click that and come in with your microphone and camera and visit us live, or if you prefer, you can go to the Stunthangar YouTube channel, and there is a text box that you can live chat with us there. Post your questions, answers, opinions, and whatever else you got for us. And if it's relevant, we'll try to work it into our conversation here. And I encourage you guys hanging out over there to talk amongst yourselves too. And sometimes it divides up into two whole different houses full of conversation, and y'all can be talking about whatever you want to there, and come over, talk to us if you want to, whatever. And there is a little icon you can click at the bottom of the chat box on the YouTube side, and that is the super chat, where if you're so inclined, you can drop us a donation, a little walking around change to help Sparky pay for server fees and all of the equipment it takes to broadcast all of the shows and build threads and contests and events that he goes to, and pay the server fees, keep Stunthangar on the air, and keep it free. So all we ask is that you keep it family room friendly while you're in here, and we'll go on till about midnight or so. And in a moment, the thread will appear. Let's see, posting now in the At the Bench thread. Give it about 3, 2, 1, and bingo, there it is. Okay, the link is there that you can click to come in and be on camera with me. And I'll wait until somebody shows up out there. Don't have anybody on YouTube yet, but hopefully we'll get a good crowd on both sides. And yeah, let's see. I don't have any exciting new stuff to talk about. You can tell me what you did this weekend. And here comes Trayan. Hey, he's our first guest tonight. How you doing, Trayan?
Hey, I'm doing fine. I'm here.
Excellent. So you have nice weather in Atlanta this
No,
weekend?
not really. Yeah. Even if I had a nice weather, I couldn't use it.
Oh, really? What's going on?
Not much. I'm just I was installing the battery compartment into this thing, and I discovered that it's a little bit too tight. My calculations were just a little bit to the limit, so I have to open up some things here. That's what I'm doing.
So you're going to have to cut it and
yeah.
And
these are the rails I made last time when I was with you guys. I
remember, yeah. Yep.
They weigh a little bit over 2 grams each.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is the frame in which they sit, something like this. And it creates a structure like this. See that?
Yep.
And what I do after that, when I install it inside, it makes the rails on left and right, so the battery slides right in between them. But like I said, I put them inside, and they were not good.
Too tight.
But I'm making good progress.
And Michael, aren't you?
Look,
Mike got his camera and
You see
mic
that?
turned off. But good evening, Gary. How you doing
Hi.
tonight?
Good.
You know, it occurred to me, we were talking the other night about our voice delay between people. Is everybody's got a different time delay between each other, and it occurred to me to get all of y'all to try going to your settings and turning your video quality down one notch. And ever since I've been doing that, it seems to help me on my side. Hey, Peter. Peter just
Hey.
dropped in too.
Howdy.
And Jeff Riley just popped in on the YouTube. So we're getting a pretty good crowd pretty quick here. Welcome, everybody. Hope everybody had a good weekend. And let's see, who is E? Eddie. Hey, Eddie. Didn't see you drop in. I got to change the grid mode so I can see everybody. There we go. Got 6 of us in here now. So, Trey, what are you going to have to do to get that battery to slide in and fit right? You're just going to have to put a slit in the nose and then just shim it a little bit to give it another 30-second or so of an inch.
Yeah, that's what I have to do. But what I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right in here. You
Yeah.
see that?
Okay. Yeah.
I have to get into this corner here and just cut down on 1/16 of an inch.
Okay.
So it's gonna drop the whole rail down a little bit. That's kind of the plan. The trick is how to mark it. So, well, I'm here. The plane's already assembled. The fuselage is already assembled. The wing is in a plane. The stabilizer is in a plane. Actually, it's hanging right here, right now. All I have to do is just finish this rail, and I'm ready to put the electronics in it. So it wasn't hard to, replace a fuselage.
Is on.
And here comes Bill Cool. Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Good.
I see you got a white shirt on, so you're not just a head floating in space. That was pretty surreal the other night. If
Oh,
you
yeah.
had stars in your
Somebody
background,
chopped his head off,
it
and
would,
he's still talking.
yeah, it would have really looked sci-fi if you had done that. Did you go back and watch the rerun to see what you looked like, or you might have been able to tell from just doing the show?
Yeah.
But I thought that was the coolest thing ever when you popped in and you were nothing but a floating head. How you doing, Peter?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. I can use a 3-day weekend though.
Oh yeah, yeah. Today, did you have a holiday today? No, you didn't have a holiday.
No.
My wife did, actually. I don't even want to tell you what holiday we had today.
No. I worked
It
all
was,
day.
it was actually, I will tell you because it's kind of hilarious. It was Confederate Memorial Day. That was invented by our governor several years ago. Maybe it was 8 or 10 years ago. And they gave up Memorial Day or Good Friday. I can't remember which one. And or no, the voters, they used to get the day voting day off, and they took that away from the state employees. It's just the state employees holiday, and so they added Confederate Memorial Day. I'm not sure what you're supposed to do on Confederate Memorial Day. Go shoot your black powder long rifle in the woods or something like that, maybe. Ride a horse.
So the forecast where I live is supposed to be 2 to 3 mile an hour wind tomorrow, all day.
How's the temperature?
Well, it's been kind of cool in the mornings, but it's like up in the 50s in the afternoon.
That's workable.
Yeah.
I've heard most of you Northerners say that once it gets over 50, it's pretty much tolerable flying weather. So maybe you can get out and fly some planes.
Yeah.
66 degrees in the morning here, 85 in the afternoon.
So how's the weather in Tennessee, Eddie? Eddie? Eddie might be locked up. Now I see his hand moving. Oh, well, we'll come back to Eddie in a little while. Maybe he doesn't have his ears on because he and Mike live in the same city. I believe they're both in Nashville.
Hey, it was snowing in Connecticut.
It was what?
It was snowing in Connecticut, from what I understand, on either Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
Hey, John. You snuck in on me. How you doing tonight?
Yeah.
Time was at 8:30, so we can wake up in the morning and finish homework. So if you hear Rex while you're sleeping,
Okay.
tell me.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Good night.
Good night.
Can y'all hear me all right?
Yeah, you
I live
fine.
north
Okay.
north, Mike.
Just making
I
sure.
hear you.
Who,
Well, I've been working on my navigator this week.
yeah, I see it behind you.
I got the tail done and got a lot of work done on the fuselage. There's over 150 parts in just the fuselage.
Wow.
It's this is the navigator designed in 1960 by Don McGovern. And this one is scaled up, so it's 67-inch wingspan. I got quite a ways on it this week or this weekend. Got the hull done. The step is all done. It's all planked, and I still have the front of the fuselage to do on top. Still have a lot of work.
Now
It's coming
you're going to
along.
be flying that plane on and off of water. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, it's amphibious.
Excellent. So what do you do to just use fiberglass and epoxy to waterproof it?
The first one I built was just a kit in 1972. This one's built from scratch. But the first one I just painted the bottom without fiberglass or anything.
Do you have to put gaskets anywhere, like around where the cowl mates up with the rest of the nose end of the plane?
Just where the wing attaches, and I use let the silicone cure, and then it makes a seal, and then you peel the saran wrap off, and then it makes a tight seal to the wing.
Uh-huh. And hopefully
And
when
of
it's
course,
floating.
all of the radio equipment gets sealed. I use that liquid tape that you paint on, and then it cures and it seals everything up, all the electronics.
I guess it's designed so most of the joints, the critical joints, are above water while it's floating too, hopefully, except for instant while you splash down. But other than that, when it's just floating, it's probably doesn't have any critical leak areas that are below the water line.
Right.
I'm guessing.
Yes.
Now, that's the same plane, or that's similar to the plane Ken Stricker has, isn't it?
Yes, he has
But yeah,
52-inch
except
length.
his is smaller. Yeah, his is
53.
smaller than yours.
This is 67-inch. This is just the original plan scaled up. All built from scratch. It's a lot of parts to cut out.
Yeah. I finally got a power switch for my big belt sander. I've been missing it for so long. I've got the little 1-inch belt sander, but I've got a 9-inch belt sander that I've been missing for several years now because the switch blew up on me, and just got around to getting a new one. I'm going to try to go out there tomorrow and get that thing going again. I think I got a new belt and disc for it. That's a nice machine to have.
Yeah.
I got my 2-meter sailplane done. I think I had showed it
Oh, I
with
see.
balsa.
I'm going to
That's
flip you
nice.
up and make it
Nice.
big. Yeah, that's pretty.
Ultra cool,
Okay,
buddy.
yeah, I got it up big now. So you got clear red monocoat. That's gorgeous.
It's
Is
ultra.
that for an RES competition, the 2-meter RES?
Yeah, it's what you call an F3 res.
Uh-huh.
2-meter. Rudder elevator spoilers.
Uh-huh.
There's a V tail.
Uh-huh.
I haven't weighed it, but it's supposed to weigh between 12 to 14 ounces, which is just ridiculously light compared to what 2 meters used to be.
I was looking into a Sprite V2 to get one of those.
Uh-huh.
Did you ever have heard of them? It's still in the same class.
A Sprite?
Sprite V2. It's called Sprite. The glider is called Sprite.
I guess not.
Ah, okay, cool.
Yeah, I know, Trey, and you've done a lot of work in sailplanes, because when I first heard of you, it was my buddy Wayne Robinson who had been reading your posts on RC Group, and he was just getting started into the model sailplane hobby. He'd been full-size sailplanes, but he was getting back into the modeling, and he followed a lot of your methods of building, and was complimenting how the Europeans are way ahead of where we are in the technology behind the sailplanes. He was calling you a European, and he obviously assumed you were broadcasting from the other side.
Thanks, Rusty. I have my mic muted because I'm doing some noise.
Okay, appreciate that.
All right.
And I don't know if everybody was here when y'all heard me mention that, the other night we were talking about the lag between talking and hearing, and it's different for everybody between each other. And I'm suggesting everybody go to their video quality setting on the main 8x8 video screen and turn it down 1 notch. And it helped me out a lot. And the video quality isn't quite as good, but it does help alleviate some of that delay that confuses us when we're trying to figure out if it's time to talk or wait for somebody else to finish. So if y'all want to try that, it might smooth out the conversation some. And that would be the settings, the 3 dots in the bottom right corner. Scroll up and click on video quality, and then you can change it from the maximum just to 1 notch lower, and see if that helps overall. It's the people who are not in the US that have the worst delay. Like Lynn and Gerald had a terrible time when he tried to come and visit one day last week. it might have been last Monday. He and either Max or Otto, I forget, were on, and it was unworkable for them. I didn't think to tell them about that at the time.
So Rusty, will it save that, or do you have to do it every time?
No, you got to do it every time.
Okay.
What you working on, Mike? A little combat ship.
Yeah, working on some half combat stuff, but I'm going to keep my mic muted for a while because Sam's behind me using the bandsaw and we're working and scraping and
Okay.
scratching. So I'm just going to listen a little bit, but I'll pipe in every once in a while. But I'm going to kill my mic
Okay.
and just listen, okay?
Hey, Rusty.
Okay. The Jolly Green Bean Pole.
So I was looking at, half-A electrics again, and somebody on Control Line group on Facebook, they had one. He said he was using some kind of blue something motor and 500 milliamp 2-cell, and then 10 amp ESC and a FM 0 or something or other timer. But then he had like a 10-inch prop on it, 10 by 3 or something. So he was going high diameter, but low pitch. I'm just wondering how all that will work.
I don't know if our experts on the electric, well, Trey is probably as close as anybody we got to an expert on here right now.
Hey,
What was that?
how big is the wingspan?
What was that about the battery and
Yeah, it was a 500 milliamp 2-cell, and then 10 amp ESC, and then I can't, something blue something or other was the motor, and then an FM timer, and it was on a profile, half-A profile, and somebody else said that's a good combination.
well,
With
Yeah.
a 10 prop, half-A? That seems awfully big prop. I think would probably.
probably that's why. Yeah, he burned the motor. He overloaded the motor, and the motor just couldn't take it. I think half A for electric, they allow you to a maximum of 7-inch prop. So that's almost a 40 size setup with a 10-inch prop.
Yeah, but I think it was like real low pitch, but
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's still the load. I mean, it's the mechanical load.
Yeah, the props.
When you load the prop, you load it both ways. You load it aerodynamically because it's a wing flying through the air, and it has mass. Like it's like a baseball bat that you try to swing. That's a mechanical load, right? You have
yeah,
a moment of inertia from over there on top of the aerodynamic load. So let's say you diminish the aerodynamic load, but you still have that mass that you have to spin, and that's that's the way the cookie crumbles. That takes the most of the power of the motor to rotate the prop, not to go against the drag. The drag is kind of small in proportion. So if I'm a guessing man, I would guess that he overloaded the motor, and the motor just the motor was the weak part of the system. Say that if the ESC is stronger than the motor, if the motor can go up to say 9 amps and the ESC can go to 10 amps, well, the motor is gonna burn. If the ESC can go to 10 amps and the motor can go to 12 amps, then the ESC is gonna burn first, because what depends on what you overload. Well, maybe it's better this way because the ESC are more expensive than the motors on little planes like that. So what can I say? Put a smaller prop.
It all depends on the kV of the motor. If the kV in the motor is small, then you can run a big prop. So you have to find out what the spec is on the motor.
Oh, I see. I made a mistake. It's an 8 by 3 point something prop.
That's quite a bit different.
Yeah, yeah. And it was a 10 amp ESC. And he's using a Human F1 timer.
Does it say what the kV of the motor is?
Yeah, 1200 kV Blue Wonder motor, swinging an 8 by 3.8 prop.
Yeah, most of the time the motor manufacturer will give you a recommendation for the prop size or a range of props depending on which battery you're using. And on a 2-cell you can run a bigger prop because it's only multiplied by 2, whatever the voltage is with 2-cell.
Well, anyhow, I'm then I looked at on that RM distribution and their system that he says is an 061, and he's trying to run a 3-cell 1300, and I mean that's a heavy battery. I just don't know how that would work.
Sometimes it's just trial and error, right? So, but most of the time, what I've noticed in control line, they use a much smaller motor, electric motor, than they need to.
Uh-huh.
And they should, right? I would maybe if the motor was much larger than what he's got over there to begin with. I don't know what he's working with, but if it's larger, then yeah, it would spin the prop much easier, and um, and it would take less power from the battery, less effort from the ESC. Everything is good, right? If you oversize something in electric, it's not the battery, it's not the ESC. You want to oversize the motor because that releases the stress on everything in an electric system. Assuming that you run the same propeller, right? So say you run the same propeller, whatever the propeller is, right? If you make the motor bigger, it's going to take less effort from the motor to spin the propeller because it's bigger, has more torque, more power. And then the ESC doesn't have to put so many amperage into the motor, and the battery doesn't have to release so much juice so fast. So everything is nice and relaxed. And my system right now it's a little bit overkill, but I don't think my system is drawing more than the amperage is in a 20s during the flight. I'm pretty sure it's of that. So while other motors, like smaller motors, they draw like 50 amps or something like that, almost double that. Just because it's a small motor, it needs the juice, it needs the power to do the work that's required of it.
Phil Bailey agrees that 7 inches is the max prop size for half A. Oh, hey, I got a question. Maybe this is best question for Tom. Jeff is sending me the flight simulator, and he's having trouble finding some of his discs. And if he can't find them, I remember hearing the other night that you had most of them or all of them, and I was wondering if he can't find them, can you just make some ISOs for me, and I've got a Dropbox folder that'll take terabytes of information. So you could just I could give you a link to a Dropbox folder, and you could just drop the ISOs in there. Would that work?
They're all licensed, so they lock the license of the transmitter with the software, so you can't do that.
That didn't even occur to me. Okay, that's a no-go.
You can buy just the software for around $100.
That would be $100 for the full package of software, which
Yeah.
includes all the planes and all of the terrain and airports.
Yes.
I wonder if you can buy just piecemeal stuff and just get a couple, because to start out, especially, all I need is 2 or 3 planes and 2 or 3 airports and stuff like that. I'm just imagining what is on those discs, but does that sound doable?
No, they sell the software only for $100, and then the package with the software and the transmitter for you can find it on sale for $169 or $179, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Oh man. Well, we might, if he can find his discs, then that'll work. We might be out of business on this deal if he can't. That's disappointing. I didn't even think of that though.
Yeah, it's all copyrighted, so.
Yeah. I'm sure there's license busting software to be had, but I'm guessing we don't talk about that in public on YouTube either.
I just bought that about 3 weeks ago, Real Flight 9. I've been resisting it, but it is pretty addicting.
Yeah. I've always wanted a flight sim, but it was always out of my budget range. So I tried some of the little cheapo ones where you could fly with the buttons. Yeah, what you got, Mike?
I was gonna say, if everybody who's got Real Flight on here, raise your hand. If you got like 8 or 9 or anything like that, we could host a fly-in. We could do a live fly-in on Real Flight. You go in there and you post the title of your group, and we say we're going to meet at 10 o'clock on Saturday night, and it's going to be Stunthangar RC fly-in, and you go find that in the drop-down menu, and we can all talk and fly RC planes in the sim at the same time and be talking to each other, just like we're doing here, except we're all flying virtual RC planes. So we just found that out long ago. We belong to a group, an RC group, building and flying group, and they were like, "Hey, we're going to have a live fly-in. Here's the name. Be on at this time. Join in." And we went in there, and all these guys we know from this Facebook group are in there flying their RC planes, and you get to, just shoot the bull and fly your RC plane while you're in there. So
that sounds fun.
But he's got that together, a live flying group. Bill, you said you just got it. We could meet on there sometime if you wanted to.
Yeah. So I've been flying the helicopters on there.
That sounds like big fun.
And getting so I can handle it fairly well. So I went and bought a $200 helicopter today.
Oh,
Stay on the sim.
yeah.
Stay on the sim till you've mastered it, because you'll be buying $100 worth of parts. You think you're going to be good enough to go fly it, and you're going to go buy $100 worth of parts after you try to fly it. That's all I can say about helicopters. I know. So
Well, I tried it like 10 years ago and busted up quite a few parts.
Yep.
yeah, go ahead.
Can you
All
add
right, I'm
wind
gonna kill
and
my mic.
weather to the options on the simulator?
Oh yeah. You can change everything. You can change the dynamic of the airplane, the controls, the motor power, how much throw you got. You can add wind, rain, tornadoes, different sites you can fly in.
You can't add weather yet.
You can't add weather yet? I
You
thought
can
you
add
could.
wind.
You can add
You
wind.
can add daylight, night.
Okay. I've been corrected by my 11-year-old. You can choose to fly at day or night, and you can up and lower the wind, but you can't change the weather. Just the wind. How much wind you got? So thank you, Sam.
Yeah. Thank you, Sam.
Get it right, Dad.
He knows more about it than I do because he spends more time on it than I do. And like you, Bill, he's addicted to the helicopters and the drones. He's flying. He flies the planes, but he's pretty good with the helis and the drones on there. I think he could probably get a heli and do okay with it, but we're still gonna wait because they're expensive and every time you crash them, it's $100. I don't care what kind of helicopter you got. When you crash it, it's $100. Basically, yeah. All right, I'm gonna turn my mic off again. Y'all
Yeah,
continue.
I was watching some guys fly a giant scale Russian gunship helicopter on YouTube earlier today, and man, that was a piece of work. And he flew it really well, but man, it was such a huge machine. And I'm so glad it wasn't one of the wreck videos. There's so many RC wreck videos that I hate watching them sometimes. But he did a good job with the big helicopter.
From what I see is you gotta use both hands coordinated at the same time, and you really have to work the throttle on it more than like an airplane.
No, it's not the throttle. I actually have the throttle. It's on hold on certain RPM and use the pitch after that. So yeah, I've seen a guy that was his name is if you watch some videos of him, it's called Tarek Al Saadi, and this guy is like the king of helicopters, right? But I want to tell you that helicopter changes direction so fast I can't even think in what direction, which way is it positioned, let alone think about what do I need to do that.
Yes.
I can't tell which way it's like because like that.
Yeah.
It changes direction so fast. I'm going like, can you slow that down? Like put it in slow motion, even if it was in slow motion. I couldn't keep up with this guy.
It's been
Thinking
described as
greatly.
putting a marble on a plate glass and trying to keep it on the glass. That's what I've been told.
Is Sam still out there?
Mm-hmm.
Might just disappear.
Probably.
There he's
Oh, there comes the helicopter. I'm gonna make it big so I can watch the helicopter fly around the top and not get any tools or anything. There we go. Got a big picture now.
Boom! There goes $100.
Yeah.
I wish I could change the picture for the YouTubers.
Back in the bad old
What I
days,
could do. I used to be able to do that with the old software, but I can't do it on here.
back in the bad old days,
Back in the Jitsi
back in
days.
the bad old days when helicopters were kind of the new kid on the block, we used to consider every time they hit the ground, it was like 100, 200, 300, 400. That was the damage you were getting. They're flopping around on the ground.
Oh,
Yeah, doing the chicken dance.
Yeah.
I have seen some spectacular chicken dances, as they call it, when it
Because they
hits the
would
ground.
flop.
And starts
Those,
flopping.
Hey, Mike, where's Sam?
I think he's got his audio unplugged.
Although these days the electronics.
There
I got something neat in the mail today.
I could probably be talked out of that, Sam.
Talked out of what? Talked out of what? Sorry. Can't see you. Oh, what's Steve holding there? What's he got? Oh,
It's the
what's
the EXI Hobbies. I guess it was a real nice, expensive helicopter. It's one of 4 I have. I'd probably be talked out of one for you, Sam, if you're nice to me.
Is it ready to go, or do we got to pump like $200 into it to make it go?
This one needs servos, and it needs electric motor.
And a gyro, probably.
But the
And
other
a gyro, and a Spectrum radio, and blades.
No, I think the blades are out there.
Are
I
they?
got all that. I do have a 35 size that has all of that stuff in it already.
I don't know if he's quite ready for a big heli yet. I'm trying to keep him in control line here, man, and stay away from this drone and heli stuff. You know?
I'm trying to keep him away from women. Because once that happens, I mean, your life goes right downhill. So the more stuff we can give him to do, the better chance he has.
What do you think?
I think helicopters are probably more expensive than women.
Yeah, they are.
I'll bring some. Let you decide. I got this one. I got. I don't know. I got another one from Hobby King, but that one's just in pieces. I guess these things come all taken apart. You put them together, but it's in a big box, and I got 2 with 35s. OS 35s on them.
Yeah, I like putting stuff together.
You gotta talk louder.
I said I like putting stuff together.
Do ya? All right.
Yeah.
The 2 smaller ones are electric, and then the 2 bigger ones are glow.
Well, we'll take a look at
They
them.
must use a lot of oil in those engines because I love the way they smoke.
Hey, Sam, stash away one of your dad's PA-65s in the truck. We'll make a trade when I see you flying.
No, you won't. I do have a lot. Yeah. That's your inheritance, son. You don't know it yet, but that's all. All those PAs are your inheritance, and all those now commodores. That's your inheritance.
I'll bring him a helicopter.
Sam will probably end up with everybody's control line stuff at some point because he'll be the last guy on the planet flying it, man, if we don't get some new blood in here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll bring him a helicopter one of these days.
All right. Well, we're gonna be in Michigan this weekend.
This coming weekend?
Yeah, we're gonna leave. I'm taking Emma and Sam up there to visit Mom. Traditionally, it would be the Detroit Combat Meet this next weekend, and enough guys have said they're not coming. That Ronnie said they're not going to have the contest, but we are going to meet Ron and the Breeze down at Rouge, and we're going to go like on Sunday and just go fly half-A combat with them. we're not gonna have a contest, but we're gonna go fly a little half-A stuff. That's why I'm working on all this stuff
Visit your
right now.
mom?
Yeah, we're gonna visit mom. We're gonna get the grandma trip done. We're gonna go spend like 3-4 days at my mom's, and I got to. We'll fly with Ronnie and Breezy one day, and then I got to pick up my fireworks for the 4th of July show here at the house. So, you believe? Just going off topic a little bit, but I buy my fireworks in Michigan. I don't buy them in Tennessee. If you can believe that, man. I get a better deal. I got a buddy I went to high school with that runs a fireworks shop in Westland, and he gives me wholesale prices on stuff. So I buy all my stuff in Michigan and bring it back here because I get a better deal. Because we spend about $1,800 for our fireworks show every year, and I just get more bang for my buck buddy up than I do buying them here at the tents. When they pop up.
So you're gonna.
I'm always nervous
at Rouge Park on Sunday.
I think so. Yeah, Sunday. Sunday's the day. Yep.
Send me a text, for sure times or whatever.
Okay.
Dick goes in tomorrow they're gonna seed his liver with radioactive pellets or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him about that, but they said that he'll have to see how he feels. They said it could make him sick for a week.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Contest. We're gonna do a little flying if the weather's good. That's it. Because I'm not gonna because I'm bringing all them fireworks home, and Ronnie's giving me a bunch of airplanes for Sam, combat planes, and then I bought on Facebook Marketplace. I bought a old, you know what a Quaker is? RC plane.
Yeah.
2-channel or 3-channel RC plane. This guy on Facebook Marketplace had a really nice, well done 56-inch size Quaker with a motor and ESC and servos, and it's bind and fly for $50. And I saw it on Facebook Marketplace, and he's in Westland, right where my mom is. So I PayPal'd the guy last week and told him, hold the plane. So I'll be picking up this Quaker electric plane while I'm up there too.
Oh, cool.
I couldn't say no to it. Bill, you know what a Quaker is, don't you?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so this is a smaller version of a Quaker. It's like a 56-inch wingspan Quaker. Very well done. It's all in translucent ultra coat. Looks like a nice build. And like I said, it's got the motor, the ESC, and 2 servos. So for $60, he has posted a ton of stuff from an estate sale. He bought a bunch of stuff from a Metro Detroit guy that passed away, and he's got tons of airplanes for sale right now. I wish I could get a few more because he's got some really nice ones and they're real cheap, but I only got room for one. So I'll have that to show when I come back in 2 weeks. But yeah, Steve, I'll let you know when we're going to be there. If the weather's cooperating and you guys want to drive in from GR for the day and hang out. How's the Oriental? Is that ready to go, or are we ready to pass that off, or we need to wait till the Nats on that?
Yeah, I think we're going to have to wait for the Nats. I got it all silk span finally. I finished that today.
Okay.
It's monocoated, but I don't think I can get it painted and ready to go by.
Okay, that's
Saturday.
fine. That's fine. I probably wouldn't have room for it anyway. So
I came up with a way to check the silk span. I sand it. And if it comes up, I know it's not stuck down good. So I'll get that piece out and then redo another piece. But that dope being so old, it just does not want to cut into the old dope.
I got you.
I painted the whole thing with lacquer.
Well, like I said, I wouldn't have room for it anyway. I'll have, I got a topper on my pickup truck, on my bed of my truck. And that thing is going to be packed to the gills with fireworks because $2,000 worth of fireworks takes up a lot of room. And I'm always so nervous driving home with all that shit because I'm like, you see car fires every once in a while on the side of the interstate. You see a car catches on fire or a truck burned up. And I'm like, oh my God, if I ever had a car fire, man, that would be a hell of a show,
Well, Dick's going to do all the
So-
graphics for it, and he's just still not up to it. We
That's
went over
fine.
there.
That's fine.
We went over there Thursday to fix his lawnmower, and he fell like 4 or 5 times. He broke 8
Oh,
ribs.
no.
He broke his nose.
What?
Yeah, he
Oh,
can't.
no.
I'm just hoping that chemo didn't do something to the valve in his heart, because that can happen. And he seems like my mom. My mom was falling, and when she broke her arm, it's when they found out she had a valve problem. So I'm hoping that it's nothing like that. But he fell in Myers grocery shopping
With the sun.
and ended up in the hospital for two days. They took him right from Myers to the hospital.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope we get to see him.
Yeah.
I hope we get to see him, but if not, we'll catch him at the Nats. But yeah, I'll be in touch and I'll let you know. I'm gonna turn my mic off because we're gonna be making noise again here.
All right.
So, Bill, did you like
All
my
right.
helicopter, man? That's
Yeah.
yeah, get $27 Hobby King helicopter.
Oh.
But it's not one of the coax ones. It is a single blade, and it is 3-dimensional flying. So if you're maybe get a $30 single blade coax, not non-coax, without
Yeah,
both
I know what
blades,
you mean.
and learn to fly that first. Because this is just the same as the big ones. It is only 20 from Hobby King. So
Yeah.
just a little advice: start with the little ones and make sure you can fly those before you go to big ones. Because every time you tip them over and those blades go, it's $100.
How they go again, Mike?
It's $100. That's how it goes. $100. Well, you bust the collective, you break stuff, all the little doodads and doohickeys and whatnot, and yeah, sure, it's $5, $10, but when you break 7 of those things at the same time along with the blades, you start putting all that stuff in your cart, it's a Benjamin, it's $100 bill. So but they're fun. They're fun. Definitely fun.
I figured out how to beat that
All right,
problem.
carry on, gentlemen.
So, John, what were you trying to show?
I was just showing that I got some more stuff for the Vanguard. I got 2826 motor.
What
from
make is
Brodak.
that? What make is it? Brodak?
And I mine aren't good enough to read the thing, but it's one of them that broke. And then it came with all kinds of hardware for it. But I got a 40 amp BSC and I got a FM9 timer. I'm trying to decide. I ordered some 3C 2800 milliamp batteries for it, and I'm not sure that that's enough battery or not. I think it is, from what I could read. So I'm entertaining any comments on that.
Probably a 4S 22 will do. 4S 22 will do. I said 4S 2200 milliamps will work fine. Probably.
Okay, whatever. All right.
But I'm using a bigger motor on the twister, so that's what I'm comparing with.
How am I got 800s coming. Is that going to be a problem?
What? Come again?
I say I have a pair of 3S 2800.
Well, if you do the math, let's do the math quickly, okay? So 4S time 32 should be equal to 3 times 28.
Is that going to be a problem?
Might be a little bit less than you need in capacity, but I don't know. It all depends on the motor. I mean, for me, it worked out fine on the twister, right?
Okay.
But I don't know what motor you have. I mean, the Brodak motor, I don't know it, and I don't know how much,
Yeah.
how big is in diameter. Any sizes to it. So you would need to know that, right?
Oh, he blanked out. Yeah, John just doesn't have a good connection tonight.
Along with the rest of the package.
Hey,
Sorry about
John.
that.
John, have you gone to your settings and
Yeah.
turned your video quality down a notch?
Yes, I have.
No, you're freezing
Put
up.
it down
Okay.
2 notches. So's everybody else.
Yeah, we got a lot of people in here right now. We got 12 people.
Right now, and over half of them are.
Half of them are
Well, hey, Lynn.
Froze up.
How you doing, Rusty?
I'm doing good. I'm doing excellent. How's everything up in
too.
Canada?
Awesome. I built an entire ARF bi-slob today.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's you
One
were
day.
showing it to us the other night.
No, that was the other one. There's one. This is another one.
Yeah, I got it.
You got it nearby?
The one I showed the other night.
Go
ahead,
I got
Steve.
all my stuff today too. I got to send it off to Dennis at a mission. We're putting together a little 15 size airplane to give away at the Nats for beginners, the kids. But at least all of it came today, and
Okay, I have some numbers for you. I think a 3S 2800 milliamps is very comparable to a 4S 22. They are very close to each other. However, the 3S will work a little bit harder than the 4S battery. So it's going to get hotter. That's what I have to say about that. Now, I was running that 4S on this motor right here, which is a 3542. I'm not sure how the aero end is being qualified, but I think it is a, let's see, if it was by the stator motor, it's like 2622 or something like that, 2620 equivalent motor. What do you have for a motor? Where did you go?
I can jump on Brodak and see what that is.
Yeah. Where did he go?
He's freezing up. He's there.
I'm right here.
Okay, John, did you hear what I said?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
yes.
Cool. Yeah. This is equivalent of this is a 3542 motor. Okay. But in John Brodak's probably is going to be by the stator size, which is about, I think, a 2028 or something like that.
2216. Oh no, that ain't the right one.
It's a 2216 for Brodak?
No, it's a 3548 at 950 kV.
No, mine is at 850, I think. 800.
Well, he has another one here too. It's a 2834 at 1200 kV. Or 2216.
Mine's a 2826.
Mm-hmm.
2826.
Okay,
Okay,
so
that should be fine. 2826. Yes, should be a very good motor. Yes. Yeah. We'll have more motor than I have over here. Your motor is more powerful than this one here. So I think with maybe less, but you're gonna need probably more kilovoltage
Okay.
kV for that. I don't know, but I think if you put a 11.6 on it, it's gonna be fine. Just put a lightweight prop 11.6 on it, should be fine. Put a 1 minute flight first or a 2 minute flight and do a comparison. Recharge the battery, see what you get, and then work your way up to a full flight.
I got the same motor on a Vector, and I got a 4-cell 3500 pack in there, and I use about 55% of that. So, but I don't know on a 3-cell because of the KV. I mean, the one that me and Dennis are doing, we're going with a 3-cell, but we went to 1300 KV. So the RPMs are whatever at the 80% of the battery, however they figure that. So that's what Dennis told me to get was a 1300 kV for a 3-cell, because we're trying to lighten everything up on this little thing.
But that's not how you lighten it up. I mean, just you by having a lighter motor, you put bigger ESC and bigger battery, you end up heavier.
The 3-cell pack is lighter. The 2700 3-cell pack is lighter than the 2200 4-cell that we have to use. And this motor only weighs 80 grams. So
Okay.
the motor's a little lighter too.
Okay.
But he said that they needed to get a little bit of weight off the nose of this airplane.
Hey, check it out. I'm using balsa in my plane.
Oh,
A ridiculous
no.
amount of balsa.
That's a
Heresy.
heartbreaker.
Oh, tell me it's not so.
That's a heartbreaker. That is.
Hey,
Oh yeah.
it's gonna absorb moisture and deform your nose of your airplane.
Warped like a pretzel.
Yeah.
Warped like a pretzel.
You'll see that thing going by and watch the whole front end of his airplane twist in midair.
The only thing it does is
Put too much of that in, it'll end.
it stops it from doing this, kind of like that, because I put it on an angle in a corner like this, so it doesn't do this.
Just be careful. Don't put too much of that good balsa in there. Sparky will call it a lumber wagon. Oh my God.
I thought you guys are gonna get a kick out of it and say, "Hey, I'm using some balsa in this plane."
That's awesome. I don't believe it.
And actually, this is about the only part in the plane that I'm actually using balsa. I use a 1/32 to make the rails.
Wow.
And it has carbon fiber on both sides of the rails. And this piece is over here.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, Hobby King had a real
Extreme
good deal
amounts.
on battery. I got a battery that's coming, $17, and it's like it was on sale. And I'm, yeah, that's a hell of a good price. $10 to ship it. I'm like, damn, over half the price of the battery just to ship it here.
See if you can find them in a U.S. Warehouse.
Yeah, it was in the U.S. warehouse.
Oh, that was from the U.S. warehouse.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
why I asked the other day if everyone thought that the shipping prices have been going way up.
Wow.
It seems like it to me. My stuff's expensive for shipping. But
I think they figured you out. They figured you out. I said, "I could. Let's just stay. We just charge him. He pays for it."
So the electric system I have, which is supposed to be like equivalent of a 15 size glow engine, it has a K&R governor. Is that a good deal?
yeah, I got a couple of them, and I need to send them back because they need to be reprogrammed or something. But the only problem we had with it is I swear that Samantha turned such a sharp corner in the squares, it would stall. It's like she'd turn it and it'd go boom, and it quit right there, and it'd go wham. We did 3 airplanes, and I quit using them. But only thing I can think of is that it has that deal in there. For a prop strike, it stops the motor. And the way we had it mounted, being rear mounted and stuff, that he turned the corner so hard, it jammed something in the damn motor and just quit.
It detects an overload, maybe.
Huh? What was that, Rusty?
I wonder if it's detecting an overload and shutting it off.
That's what I'm thinking, is that I don't know if it was the motor and it wasn't well made or whatever, that, or if it was because it was rear mounted, it put such a torque on it. But yeah, besides that, other people's used them and haven't had the problem, but we lost 3 airplanes. That's when we quit doing electric for a couple years and then came back to it.
Should have stayed away from it or whatever.
I told you I had good success with my timer, didn't I?
Pardon me?
I said I had good success with my timer.
The one you built?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've used it already. Works fine.
But
works fine.
But I don't know. Other people love that KR timer. It's pretty easy to use and stuff like that. But I always wanted to try it on a front-mounted motor to see if that was the problem of it. I think detecting an overload or something, and it just stopped.
Oh.
And I had 2 of them that did it, and I talked to that Eric. He told me to send them back in, that they have new programming for them now or whatever, but I just never sent them back to California to be reprogrammed.
Well, it's supposed to like give it more when it's pulling, climbing, and less when it's diving, isn't it?
Yeah, it does. It works pretty nice. It really does.
Like a 2-4 blade?
Glow engine.
Yeah, you can adjust that. Kind of like the Igor a little bit.
Uh-huh.
It's not as much adjustment as you can get out of the Igor, but it works real well. That was the only problem we had, that it would die.
Kind of like a glow engine.
Huh?
I said kind of like a glow engine. It gives it more when you go up into it, and it backs off when you come out of it.
Just set the needle valve right, and then you don't have any of those problems, man.
Yeah.
Timers and electronics and all that.
You guys keep
Set the
telling me you
needle,
don't have
man.
any problems with electric, and all I'm listening to is the problems.
Mike, I'm not buying
strong
it.
enough, and all.
I'm not buying it. Your trucks are
Just
not
saying,
IC powered.
Not buying it.
Your trucks are not IC powered. Not buying it.
But I would agree with you. If you set the needle right, it'll run great.
Yeah.
But you never set the needle right.
You do.
Dish it back, Steve.
You
Dish
do
it
if
back.
you do
Yeah.
it. If you do it enough, you do.
Yeah.
That's right.
And if
Everybody's
you
like,
get it
oh,
wrong,
I got a lean run, I got a rich run, I overrun, I underrun. I use too much fuel. I did.
Hey, the last time we were at Brodax, when Samantha flew, her engine quit partway through, and it was electric, and it didn't finish the pattern. Like, I'm not here to say that electric's not good. I think it is good, but it's definitely not better. It's different, and I'm okay with different, but I'm not okay with one's better than the other.
Yeah,
I'll tell anybody that.
That was a bad ESC.
I'll tell Bob Hunt that. I'll tell everybody that. It's a preference. If you prefer electric, that's great. I think it's wonderful. But I don't know if it's better.
Yeah.
It's just different.
I say it's a lot
because
better.
it has problems too. It just has problems too. It's different kinds of problems.
Yeah, they tend to catch fire and burn up.
Yeah. Only thing is that with Samantha's last couple airplanes, never had a problem.
Yeah.
A lot of it is.
That's awesome. And that's good. That's good.
Setting stuff up and knowing how it works.
Yeah.
You're not trying to do it yourself. It's kind of like running a piped engine, and you decide the size of the pipe you want, and the venturi, and all this kind of stuff. Or you go what the manufacturer says to do.
I'll give you scores.
So I'm a little bit of a
exactly.
where
I agree.
I wanted to do it my way.
I'll give you a real spark.
Yeah. I agree with you, Steve, on that. Go with what the guys who are really good at it say, and it'll work. I agree.
Yeah. But I would bet that I don't think another world championship will be won with glow. I don't think so. I don't care if from the United States the world championships, they won't win.
That's far. And now look.
You think a match will be won with glow?
It could be because David Fitzgerald does it and he wins every year. But that's the only reason. But he has
Doug Moon does too. But I think Doug Moon does.
Because that's not the right side.
But none of them guys could go to the world championship.
What does Derek Barry use?
If you put white glue in the middle of that, and you
I haven't seen Joe Gilbert running
white glue in it,
electric too much.
push that in there.
I haven't seen Richard Oliver running any electric.
Joe Gilbert was flying my plane at Georgia when he came in Georgia, yahooing from the center of the circle as he was flying the plane. We'll go like, wahoo! Golly, how he does it, you know?
Okay. Golly.
He definitely loved it.
But give me one of those first.
Okay. So where's the heat gun?
The heat gun's on the floor right here, but I need the other orange cord. Okay?
There's nothing like the smell of castor oil.
Yeah, you know, I'm still a motorhead. I got all kinds of them, but if I was ever gonna be to where I went to a concert in, it'd be with electric.
Right, that's getting hot.
It just gives you so much better practice times than everything else. Mike, did you know you're not muted? But it's up to everybody, you know, who wants to run and stuff like that. I've had more bad luck with glow than ever did with electric.
Okay.
I'm thinking mainly like, well, I can go fly it in the park and nobody's going to complain about the noise. Where glow, I'm not so sure.
Well, that was the one thing by us too, is that the lawyer that lived next door to the field, he didn't like flying glow engines on Sundays, and we started flying electrics, and he's got no problem with that. But it's
Who's sharing?
Pete. I think it said
P38. Who's got the P38 up here?
Peter Neville.
Somebody's sharing something.
Peter Nevi.
P38.
Oh, sorry.
We got it.
Sorry. I'm just trying to figure out. I've got an anomaly going on with this 3D model. I'm trying to figure out what it is.
I like P38s. They're fine.
But no, it's their own. I still like glow because I'm an old motorhead, but all I know is that when I only had Samantha half the time, and then we had to fly, the days we could fly, that it was so much nicer knowing that if we went out there and made 5 flights, 6 flights, they'd all be perfect. Nothing changed. We didn't have to fly the first one and try to get a needle and adjust stuff, or it was just, we knew the airplane. If it was windy, we picked up 200 RPMs, set it. If it was calm, we did 200 RPMs, and we went back to our normal setting if we had like 5 to 10 mile an hour wind. We had it down to a science. I mean, it was just bang, bang, bang. She get home from school, we knock out 6 flights, she'd come home and do her homework. So it was a good deal for us anyway.
Yeah. Hey, it's whatever works, right? It's like I say, it's what you prefer. I think it's great.
So, beginner,
I have no problem with beginner which?
A question. I hear the term stunt tuned. I mean, besides the Venturi, what else is done to make a glow motor stunt tuned?
It can be anything. Depends on what the guy wants to do to tune it.
It depends on the engine.
That's pretty much it. But
That's right.
and it changes over the years too. There was a time when everybody liked a sharp 4-2 brake where it would run. They called it a 4-cycle, but it's not really, but a 4-cycle in the flats where it's just burbling along. And as soon as the tank pressure changed from turning it vertical like in a square or turning or going up into a loop or something, the engine would lean out and run a full-blown, full-power 2-stroke. And so that's the most common thing that people refer to when they say stunt tuned, is it'll do a nice 4-2 brake. But now with pipes and all kinds of other newer technology machines, it can mean anything. But basically with stunt, you like to fly it reasonably slow with a lot of torque, and it has to do with the engine timing and the porting inside the engine, of how
That's what I was wondering.
ports are placed and how much fuel flows up through them.
It's like
and the timing at the front valve where the air comes in. So that's about the best answer I got. Does that help?
This one
Good
here
one.
has
Good one,
been
Rusty.
stunt tuned. There's been all kinds of stuff done to this motor to make it run for control line, because most of them all start out as RC motors.
RC motors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're right.
It's
So,
actually
unless
detuning
you
in a
buy
way.
See, if you buy a regular manufactured motor, generally it's an RC motor, unless you buy a specifically brand new motor like a Rojet or a Stalker or something like that, or a Casminato motor. They're set up right at the
And
factory
earlier,
for stunt, not for anything.
in earlier
That's the
times,
difference.
and Lynn, you're right. And in earlier times, it was designated with an S. OS used to say the Max S35, and that was for stunt. And it would do a beautiful 4.2 brake, and that was when it was competing with Fox, which is why everybody loved the Foxes. But yeah, it's a lot more complicated than just that these days. Plus, you don't have a carburetor on a stunt engine. You have a Venturi, and you just run it on a set mixture. Yeah.
What's everybody's preferred props?
I swear by wood.
APC, they're cheap and they're
For
pretty
electric?
consistent and they're inexpensive.
Which one's that, Rusty?
It's for electric or for
APC.
IC?
They
No,
prefer
just IC. I don't have any electric.
they prefer 2 blades, 3 blades, 4 blades, 3 3/4 pitch, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6.
Oh, are you doing wood props?
Wood props, carbon fiber props, nylon props. That's what's preferred. Everybody has what they like.
Yeah, I prefer wood.
That's what she said.
I don't care for wood, but I prefer something that I can afford to walk around with a fistful of them on practice day, you know. And APC fits that bill, and they're good. They're easy to balance. They're pretty tough. They don't flex. They'll cut the crap out of you because APC stands for a painful cut. But I like them.
That's a good one.
I don't like the way they look.
What about
I
master?
think they're uglier than crap.
Master air screws. What about
They
them?
look horrible.
Hey, you guys want to see a badass
I had
ESC?
I had a problem with what's that, Steve?
A badass ESC.
What about it?
Yeah, look at it.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about props right now. Can we finish our prop conversation before we
Really?
Yeah, what makes
Yeah.
it fast? 3 wires coming out of one end, 2 out of the other.
Somebody asked me about a master air screw a minute ago. Did I understand that right?
Yes, me, Eddie.
Yep, that's right.
Just don't make them
Oh,
break
okay.
out.
Yeah, when for half A, I like the master air screws because they're easy to cut down. They're durable. Next most durable thing to the rubber duckies, but they still do break. But for stunt, my planes always fell on their face with it's like somebody took the guts out of them when I put a master air screw on. And I later learned it's probably because master air screws run a lower pitch than advertised, and I was running 3s and 4s at the time, and I probably was actually running 2 and 3 rather than 3 and 4, and that could have been why I didn't like the master air screws. Bob Zambelli loves them, but he flies a totally different thing from what we do. He's just for balls to the wall, punching smoking holes in the sky with the engine running at its absolute screaming maximum. That's how he flies all-time stunt. But he's the only person I know that really has ever said that they liked APCs in my experience.
You get on.
Do you like APC? I mean, not APC. I mean master air screw. I meant master air screw. So,
But Hobby King, you can
who
get
likes master air
prop
screw?
there for a few dollars a piece. Good wood props if you like wood. They clone everything.
I tried wood,
Plastic.
but I found the wooden ones hard to balance, and that I always broke them too soon.
Oh yeah, they're fragile.
Mostly because I always broke them.
Balance
Yeah.
is easy. Just smear
They're
a little bit of
fragile.
epoxy on one blade or another.
Only
I
problem
love
I
wood
never
props.
stand
I
with
got a
your
new
finger.
headset. How's it working?
There was 4 people
I
talking. I
love.
couldn't understand what anybody said.
Go ahead.
Say over when you're through. Well, let's see. Let's ask you, APC, over. Like that.
But Bill, I would get on Hobby King and
Good
just
evening,
look
guys.
over
How do
the
you hear
props
me?
there. You can get hell. They got carbon fiber props that are cheap, and they got plastic. They got wood.
There we go.
They're a lot better price.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, guys. I just got a new headset. Does it work? Can you
Sounds
hear
like
me?
you're in an
Absolutely.
airplane.
Yep.
Yeah.
Loud and
It's
clear.
working okay? All right. I'll
Yeah,
try
you
it till the
sound like you're a
batteries
little
die.
bit.
Okay.
Sounds like you're at 30,000
It's a little
feet.
tinny.
We can hear you.
Yeah, maybe it's like my airplane headset. You got to eat the microphone. Anyway, I'll try
You
this
sound
rather
like
than
you're a
shouting
long
across
way
the room
away.
here tonight. Maybe I'll give up on it for now. I'll just go back to the built-in mic.
Yeah.
Okay.
So back to the glow engines, like with the free flight, the guys, they send their engines to this Bob Matthews and he reworks them. Is that with the stunt, you can get a good stock motor, or is there guys that are reworking them?
Most definitely. Tom Dixon.
Yeah. And Randy Smith are 2 notable engine
Randy Smith.
reworkers.
They're notable rework guys and they do great work. And when you get your motor back, as long as you do what they tell you to do, it'll work. If you start deciding that you know better and you should run it a different way, well, good luck. You will have issues.
Yeah. So many
And
people
don't
get the Dremel out and
you
pretend
laugh,
like
but
they know what they're doing.
you laugh, but I'll tell you, you would be surprised how many guys will send a motor to Tom Dixon and he'll rework it all up for them.
Mm-hmm.
He'll send it back to them. He'll tell them exactly what prop to run on it, exactly what fuel to run in it, exactly what plug to run in it, and then they'll run everything totally different and then be all pissed off because it doesn't work.
Yeah.
What do you expect?
Jim
You
Lee,
didn't do what you were asked to do.
Jim Lee is another good one
Stunt
too.
hangers full of people who do that.
Most definitely.
Yeah, Randy
Jim Lee
Smith,
is another good
Tom
one.
Dixon,
For sure.
and Jim Lee are probably your 3 top guys now.
Most definitely.
Byron Barker's not with us anymore, and not Tom Lay. Who's the guy in Oklahoma, Kansas area? Lou Woolard. Lou Woolard's not with us anymore either. He was another one that could do them. But top 3 would be Randy Smith, Tom Dixon, Jim Lee. Those are the guys you need to work with.
Lou is mostly a Fox
And
guy, is that right? Or did he do other engines too?
If they tell you to run a specific prop range, like within 2 pitches or 2 diameters, and they tell you a fuel to run within 2 or 3% oil content and nitro, and what plug to run, if you don't follow their instructions,
just do it.
You may as well never send them an engine anyway, because they're set up to their prop, their oil, their nitro, their plug, and even a plug can make a difference.
It works.
Yeah. Whatever.
And
I mean, if you're going to send a motor off to those 3 guys, you better run it the way they tell you to set it up, or you're wasting your time. That's it. Just reiterating what Len said.
Yeah.
That's an insult to the engine builder too.
Hey, Len.
I've been. Go ahead, Steve.
Have you run a Rojet 76? Is that a yes?
Who?
You.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I've never run a 76, only a 67. A 67 and a 90. I have a 76, but I haven't run it yet.
Oh, okay. I just wondered if they
The break-in procedure will be. You wonder which?
If they vibrated a lot.
They should.
What it is that SV11.
I haven't heard the.
You can feel the vibration in the handle, and I mean it's really noticeable. But I'm wondering if it's the airplane.
But it may not be the motor.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's
Probably
the airplane from being so oil soaked that.
Yeah, there you go. End of story. I guarantee you, it's not the motor, unless there's something wrong with the motor. But I would say no, not the motor. There's something in the airframe or something with the way it's being attached to the mounts, or the mounts are suspect or something like that.
Because I ordered another airplane today.
Roadjets, I would. Roadjets, I have always found run really, really, really smooth. Like
that's
really
smooth. I was going to send it back to Dub. I don't know. Yeah. But I ordered a new SV11 today from Brodak. And
okay.
The ARC. And I want to put that.
Just take a look at the. Just take a look at the grain on the motor mounts when you get it. See what the motor mounts look like. If the grain isn't decent, cut them out. Put new ones in.
Yeah.
Okay? That's all I can suggest. If the motor mounts don't look decent, that could be the problem.
All right. Yeah,
this is why a lot of times I like to build scratch, because then I know what wood I'm putting in stuff. If I have nice, even, straight grain on the motor mounts, it gives me a fighting chance with good plywood doublers that I'm never going to have any issues with motor runs.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's no different than anything else. It's the whole setup has to be right, and if it isn't right, it isn't going to work right, and that's the problem.
Yeah, I wish I had another airplane to put that motor in before I send it, but I guess I ordered another airplane, so I'll put that together and put the motor.
Hey, let me kick it off in another direction here. We never hear anything about how RC motors run. Tom and who else here? Gary, fly RC. And so what sort of stuff y'all look for in an engine? I guess you fly straight out of the box on most of the stuff that's built for RC planes, right?
Yeah. All IC motors that I run RC are just straight out of the box.
Really?
What are you running?
I have about 60 airplanes, so I'm running just about everything.
So what's your favorite RC
I have
engine?
the same.
Most of what I'm running now are electric. But
okay.
I like the OS 4 strokes. That's mostly because they're quieter, I think.
I hear they'll bite the crap out of your finger, though. You probably start them with an electric starter, though. All yours are probably bigger than ours, aren't they?
Yeah, I have electric starter.
So what size engines?
RC engines starts from like
engines, for instance?
Well, the one that's on I have a Cadet Senior with floats, and it's got a OS 70 4-stroke.
Yeah, that
looks like a pretty light plane. How much does it weigh?
I've never weighed it.
That Cadet.
I've never weighed it, but I'm sure with floats on it, it's not as light.
But RC engines.
Yeah, when I see planes,
rusty than what?
Seattle one time and sat on the I went out to Seattle one time and sat on a restaurant on the bay watching those planes taking on and off with the floats on them, and they don't look like they ought to be able to lift out of the water to me, but they get away pretty good. It's always slow and, crawling up and get to gain altitude, but they work. But they look heavy. But as far as the models go,
start so much easier than control line engines. You can throttle them back to idle, and you just bump it, and the thing will just take right off and go to idle, and you speed it up. But control line engines are so much harder to start than an RC engine. You're starting them at full bore.
So I got this WinMac.
what about you, Bill? What kind of
What was that?
what about a WinMac 049?
Oh, I bought this one from this Bill Schmidt, and he's a guy that kind of like collects these and restores them. And he sent, these different wrenches, and he's like, use these wrenches. If I find out that you're using a pliers on it or something or other, it's like he takes it personal, like you're going to hurt his engine. It's just.
Yeah, that's how people on our Cox engine forums are about the Coxes. They got to have 2 wrenches, and they get all upset if you start grabbing them with pliers. You ought to see some of the old glow heads I had when I was a kid. They worked just fine. They were uglier than crap, but yeah, I try to, because on the planes I build now, I try to build them kind of pretty, and same goes for the engine. So I use the wrenches, but the wrenches are too weak. So what I do is I put the wrench on the engine, depends on what I'm doing, and clamp it in the device that holds the wrench from flexing, and then turn whatever it is I got to turn. And that works well. Actually, I prefer doing it that way. I forgot, what was the brand of 049 you said you got?
Oh, it's a WinMac.
Well, if you
I remember
used it on anything?
What's that?
Have you used it on anything?
Well, it's on this free flight.
And
then I
hold it up a little bit higher.
It's got a clown balloon for a bladder. And then I put this pod in there with RC so I could fly it, in a small area. And I'm having trouble with the RC, but the motor runs good.
Is it? Hold it. Let me see one more look at it. I want to see the engine. Yeah, hold it like that. Yeah, I got a bunch of those in my drawer. I've never used them for anything though.
There's certain.
I say a bunch. I probably got 2 or 3.
There's certain models of the WinMac that they're fairly hot, and others that aren't so good. So it's like you got to get the right vintage.
Yeah. What kind of prop was that you had on it?
It's a Cox 5.3.
Yeah, those are fabulous. Can't balance them for shit, but they fly great, and you can't bust them. The old rubber duckies.
Oh no, this one's
they make some black props now that you can bust.
This is kind of a hard plastic, and they'll break pretty easy. But
yeah. Hey, Bill.
Yeah,
that's like the competition prop. Is it dark gray or is it black? Is it dark gray or is it black?
There's black and there's gray ones too.
Yeah.
Hey, Bill. The only successful WinMac I've ever had. This is the 1970s Tester's Sprite car. So this was Tester's One Mac, and I got this off eBay. It was actually unrun, and I broke the motor in. But that's one of the One Mac motors there. Of course, that one's got a I don't know what the hell you call it, counterbalance or whatever, and a gear to run wheels instead of a propeller. But the needle valve actually is it's a cable, right?
Yeah.
It's a cable.
So you don't get.
We run this in the driveway. We run this in the driveway every once in a while, and it's actually a pretty good runner. It's good. It's fun. It's a lot of fun, but it's definitely it's a tester's head, but it doesn't look like any tester's engine I've ever known. It's a Wen Mac motor because the directions actually said Wen Mac Tester's Sprite car when I got it. So at some point, Tester's dropped. Yeah, it's an 049. Tester's dropped the Wen Mac name. I don't know the history and how that all happened, but at one point it was Wen Mac Testers. Like Tester's airplanes used Wen Mac motors, and then at some point the Wen Mac just went away, and then later in the 70s, everything Tester's made was just called Tester's, and they were Tester's motors. And I think when Tester's took them over all the way is when they made all the pipe bomb motors. The Tester's motors were pipe bombs, and the actual Wen Macs were discontinued. But for a while, they were commingled. I think Wen Mac was on its own file. They got conjoined with Tester's, then Tester's made Tester's motors, and Wen Mac just went away. So I think a Wen Mac standalone motor is not as bad of garbage as the actual Tester's motors are, because the Tester's motors were horrible.
Yeah,
they were all horrible.
That pipe bomb was a real piece of shit. Wasn't that even a fiberglass crankcase?
Oh, it was like plastic or bakelite or something. I don't even know. But when Tester's was with Wen Mac and they made these cars in the 70s, these were pretty stout. These were pretty solid motors and pretty good cars. And this one still runs. It still runs. We beat it to hell. We run it in the driveways and we spun it out times, but it was brand new when I got it. It was unrun, brand new when I got it. And but I don't care. I paid like $80 for it or something. I won it in an auction.
Was it a tether?
It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a tether car. It's a tether car. Yeah, it's the knockoff of the Cox Lotus. Cox made the Lotus, but Tester's made this. Cox made the Gurney. I'm sorry, the Dan Gurney racer. This is the Lotus that Wen Mac made all through the 60s, and then Tester took them over in the 70s and made these as well. And this one was a Sprite car. Sprite, the drink, the soda drink.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's no sticker. Yeah, it was Sprite. Sprite the drink. And you could, if you drank enough Sprite in the 70s, you could send away for this and get it. You could get this car for free through mail order. Drinking enough Sprite.
Oh my Lord.
You start, hey Mike, do you start that the same way as the car, where you just spin the wheel? Yeah.
Spin the wheel, or your buddy turns his bicycle over and pedals his rear wheel going. And with the battery hook,
get a power starter.
You set that on the rear wheel of your buddy's bicycle, and bam, you go. That's how we always do.
Power starter
on the bicycle. You get your buddy's bicycle going, and you hold it down, and you brap it. Of course, there's a line on it too, and then you got
upside down.
Screw up, and you send it off wrong, and it spins out and flips over and breaks stuff. But if you get a good launch on it, 15 foot in the driveway, you know what? I'm gonna do that one time. We're gonna dig this thing out, and I'll make a video of it, and I'll post it up on my YouTube channel, or I'll put it on Stunthangar in the half-A section or something like that.
Do you ever put ramps up and see if you can get them airborne for a ways and then set them back down and keep going?
This is 50-year-old injection molded plastic, man. Do you think there's no suspension on this, Rusty? This is 50-year-old plastic.
Okay.
It's so brittle. I mean, hell, it's brittler than Len's old bones, man. It breaks when you pick it up, man. Like things break off it when you pick it up. This old plastic, man. You can't really. You shouldn't play with it. But I bought it to run it, so we ran it. You know, we run it every once in a while just for hoots. But even it was brand new.
Okay.
But we broke the screw mounts have broken in it just from running it. The plastic's so brittle. But I don't care. I'll wrap it in duct tape or electrical tape as long as it'll still run and make noise and go in a circle. I don't care.
Show them the Pinto, Tom.
Oh, you got a Pinto?
That's a cock.
Unbelievable. Look at that.
Pinto. Yeah, but that's a much better body and chassis than this stuff. This is actually like what Tester's models were made out of, or Revell model, that kind of that hard plastic. That body and chassis you have on there is much, much better. It's a little more flexible.
Tom, was that the drag racing one that had the little bead that killed the motor?
Yes.
No.
Yes, it was, but I added
added
steering and had a radio control put in it.
Oh, okay.
I thought
Oh, good.
Not only the dragster had the bead that killed it. I didn't know they made the Pinto with the bead and the parachute deployment. We had the dragster.
Yeah.
We had the dragster.
Yeah,
they made a Pinto. So that's not a tether. That's not a tether car then. That's a straight line runner.
Yeah.
That's straight line, right?
Dragster. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, one of
all the other tether cars from that era, had pretty good plastic bodies on them that weren't that hard, brittle plastic. There was the Pinto and the Camaro and a 57 Chevy. There was a whole bunch of different tether cars, but they were like newer age plastics.
I had the Cox Chaparral tether car.
Chaparral.
And then this Pinto I got later, probably sometime in the 70s.
Didn't that have
Chaparral, such a great looking car.
Didn't that have a little thing that set in and you hit it and it lowered the wheels down and it took off? Is how that worked?
A launcher, yeah.
Yeah, because one buddy of mine, he had the Pinto. The other one had the dragster, and we'd set them up in the driveway and race them.
Yep.
Has anybody seen that video?
My buddy had the.
Has anybody seen what?
There was a video on YouTube from way back when in the UK where they had cars with diesel engines on it was like a slot car track, but they had these little diesel engines and they were on this track and they would race them indoors.
I never seen nothing like that. Hey, Tom, did you ever have the snowmobile?
No, but before they invented it, I suggested it to Cox to make it, but I never knew that they made it until later on. I found out they did make it, but I never had one.
I mean, because we had so much winter in Michigan. Yeah, that was the only thing we never had. And it's like, why didn't we have a snowmobile? We had Baja Bugs, we had Sandblasters, and the drag cars, the Shrike, which was an air.
I had a dune buggy.
Yeah, the dune buggy. Yeah, I had
the dune
buggy.
We had the dune buggy.
Ever trying to start it? You had that little cable.
Yeah, a little pull starter.
Yeah.
Yeah, a pull starter. It was awesome.
Hey, Peter, did you have wanted to hold up?
What's that?
Hey, Peter, were you trying to hold something up to show us, or just look
No,
up
no,
your head?
no, no, no,
Something big in
no.
your hand.
No, I'm just putting.
Okay. I was just making sure.
I think Cox made a boat
Be
too?
sure and holler
Yeah,
if we
the
don't see you.
CB, it was blue. The one I had was blue.
We never had a boat or the snowblower, the snow mobile.
They made two boats. They made two boats. They made the CB, and then they made a remote controlled boat in the 80s. It was all foam, and it was a pusher, single channel RC, all foam. Cox 049. Cox made two boats, but they only made one RC boat. It's called the Hydro Blaster. The Cox Hydro Blaster is what it was called.
Okay. Yeah, it was probably after I got out.
Bill, you were talking. Does anyone remember in the 1970s something called gassers? They were actually 049 powered cars that you put on a track like Hot Wheels, but a wider track than Hot Wheels, but they were nitro powered cars that you would run on a track similar to a Hot Wheel. They were called gassers. And I can't remember if it was Tyco that made them or Mattel, what company, but there's a commercial. I'm going to find a video on YouTube of it. I never had one, and I don't remember seeing them or any friends that had them. But there was a nitro version of like Hot Wheels or Sizzlers. You remember Sizzlers?
Yeah.
I remember
battery powered.
Sizzlers. Oh yeah, they were awesome.
Okay, so these were a little bit bigger than those.
The Tyco gas.
Oh,
Nitro slot.
Tyco gas. Right.
Nitro
I'm gonna find the video. I'll be back. You guys got to see this because when I saw this a few years ago,
I've never heard of such a thing.
Yep,
I was so mad that I never had it.
It's a 70s toy. I just did a Google search on them.
Hey, Len, I still have my Sizzler.
Well,
that's awesome.
They were
amazing. I don't know why they stopped making.
Why
they stopped making those.
Remember they had was it called Gas and Go? Is that what that thing was where you plugged it in and you charged it back up?
That's right. It just looked like a little gas station. That's right.
Yeah.
And they had the fat track. Remember the black fat track with the high bank curves?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. Those things used to go like just so fast. It was unreal.
And then we had the I think my brother still has his Hot Wheels. That was a drag deal where you set it up high and you hit the deal and it went down the track and did a loop, and then whatever one won, a flag went up.
Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, had jumps and loops and
yeah.
Oh, I had all that stuff with the orange Hot Wheel track. Yeah, it was okay.
You want me to
all right, guys.
Toys of the 70s.
I found it. Here we go. They're called Great Gassers.
All right.
Are you ready? Are you
Hey,
ready for this? Here we go.
Yeah. Why don't you post a link in the chat box?
Here we go.
Too?
They burn real fuel. Fuel them up, start them up, and tune them up till they sound just right. They slipstream and pass each other at high speeds on their own bank track. Race your son in your own backyard.
Is this video hosted on YouTube already?
Yeah, it is.
I never heard of them.
So, never heard of them. But Len, what you were saying about the Sizzlers Fat Track, that track looks identical. The track looks like Fat Track, right?
It does. I think it is.
But those were nitro.
Exactly like that.
Hey, Mike,
Exactly.
I didn't get to see it playing.
That's wild. Yeah.
Hey,
the
Mike,
track looks identical.
I did not get to see it playing. Can you run it again?
Yes, I can. Give me a second. It didn't show up on your end?
I seen it. I seen it.
It
Fine.
didn't finish loading until it was just pictures at the end.
Okay, hang on.
Yeah, mine somehow is slow to load us.
Let's do it again. We'll share the screen again for Rusty. These things look cool, and I have never seen one
I was hoping I'd tell you
YouTube
before
or on
you killed
eBay
it,
either.
because that might.
Okay, we're going to share it again. But has anybody ever seen one of these at a swap meet or on eBay or anything?
No,
never.
I've never heard of such a thing.
Stumbled across this video a couple years ago, and here we go. We're sharing. I thought it was cool as hell.
Great gases. Internal combustion races for you and your son. They burn real fuel. Fuel them up, start them up, and tune them up till they sound just right. They pass each other at high speeds on their own bank track. Race your son in your own backyard. The great gases. Go get them.
Did you get it, Rusty?
Yeah.
No, it never did finish loading. Don't worry about it. Just
I'm
post the
sorry.
link in the chat box.
Or did Rusty see? Did anybody see it?
Yeah,
I did.
I saw it.
I saw it.
I saw it twice.
Okay.
I did.
I don't know how to post the link, Rusty, because I'm not watching on YouTube. How? And I don't know.
Yeah, show just.
Never mind.
Figure it out. All right. Well, you can look it
So how
up.
many
It's
of you
Great
guys
Gassers on YouTube.
Sometime.
Just go on YouTube
Yeah,
and type
okay.
in Great Gassers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It looks like it was made by Hasbro.
I'd like to have a couple of them.
Speaking of Great
Was it
Gassers,
Hasbro?
that's what my wife would tell me I am.
Hasbro or Hasbro?
Great Gassers, no shit.
You guys remember these black flying saucers?
Oh,
I had the earlier version of that, the Cox UFO, the one that was a UFO, the plastic one. That one's much better because it's all foam, right?
Right.
Yeah, the foam one is better.
Oh, hey,
Yeah,
Mike.
those come up on eBay from time to time, and you can get them for like $40 occasionally, Tom.
Hey,
Do
Mike.
you remember Kim post from the small a couple years ago where he posted some of those
Yeah.
flying?
Yeah, Kim
He
Stricker
posts a
flew
lot of
one,
good
didn't he?
stuff, and he goes to small almost every year. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Kim Stricker has videos of that flying.
Right.
That same
That's
one.
right. That's what I was saying.
I think one of the guys that goes to that small group has three or about three of them or something.
there's a guy I know
Pretty quiet.
that flies free flight and control line that goes to small. Dan Barry. Anybody know him?
I know that name.
I know him from
But I
the
don't-
Stunthangar and the control line flying. I think he's part of the. He's like Arkansas or Louisiana or
Yeah.
something. He's down there with those guys.
Brentonville or somewhere. He's into those things, those things that are like a helicopter with the engine on one end and spin around and Shadius or
Yeah, the auto gyros or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
They're a little
Well,
different than an auto gyro. There you go. Mike's got one.
We flew this one at the Nats a bunch of times last year, along with Richard, and he had one too, and we were doing double launches at the same time with these. And also, Rick Bollinger and them guys took one of those $5 foam chucker gliders you get hobby or not, you know, with 5-foot wingspan, wings plug in, and the big foam launcher. So they were out there. They were out there in the parking lot at the L pad, and they hacked like 6 inches off the nose and put epoxy to 049 on front of it. And it took them like 3 or 4 tries, but they made a free flight 049 model out of one of those $5 big foam chucker gliders. Took like 3 times, but they actually they got it, and they put up a flight that went. It ran the whole tank out, man. They got trimmed out, and it went up, to like 150 feet, and just did big circles all around the L pad, and it probably flew for a minute and a half on the tank. Yeah,
Man,
Sam went and chased it down when he quit. We had a blast, man. We were launching these off, and we were launching off the foam glider thing. I think I got a video of that too.
I've got a stack full of styrofoam planes that look stout enough to do that too. I'd like to see. I always thought maybe making control line out of it and flying it on even, you know, the lightest fishing line, but I never thought of free flight. Yeah, you could read up on that. How hard is it to trim a free flight plane just to not completely go away the first time you throw it? Just to know they angled the cut in the rudder and the ailerons?
Usually the torque of the engine will make it fly in a circle.
Oh, that's true. I guess it would, wouldn't it?
Just trim it to glide, you know, hand toss it so that it glides, and then start the engine, and it'll fly in a circle.
Yeah, didn't they used to have either a fuse, a dethermalator, a little timer on there? They used to like kick their elevator down.
Yeah. I got about 4 of those planes. I think I tried making a control line one too. But yeah, I might try a free flight.
Hey, Mike, is it on the cockpit?
I've got it.
Okay, guys.
That was made by Hasbro, but it was never released.
What you got, Mike?
Never released.
No, it was.
Well, Steve was saying the Hasbro thing, the code never released.
Yeah, it was on Cox Engine Forum.
Okay. That's too bad. That would have been fun.
Yeah, I guess there was a bunch of them out there. They had showed packaging and everything for them. But it said this one guy that started on the Cox Engine Forum bought a bunch of stuff from him, G.I. Joes, and they were in there. And the guy that worked at Hasbro said that they were never released. It was ready to go. And maybe there was some kind of lawsuit, or afraid they'll get sued over something happening or whatever. Carbon monoxide in, you know, your house.
Okay.
In the damn
the foam.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would have been bad running them in the house, right? Running nitro. Well, you noticed they were outside in the commercial. They weren't.
Yeah. So
I found the video of Rick Bollinger's free flight foamy. So I'm going to
see it.
Hopefully Rusty can see it time.
Yeah.
Here we go. Is it pulled up? Can everyone see what we got?
Different one.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Yep.
Oh, that wasn't the right video, guys.
Oh man.
I That's what mine did that's what happened when I tried it back in the 80s.
That was a damn boomerang coming right back at him.
Look
Oh,
out.
the video, guys.
Incoming. Incoming.
All right,
Before
hang
you
on.
close that,
Try
Yeah.
another one.
Okay, I got it. Are you ready to see this one?
Yeah.
Oh, we're ready.
Let's see. Is this one playing here?
It's awesome.
Okay, hang on.
It's
Nice start.
Something happened.
Sure did. Now I just got some guy walking across the room. He's going for a pee, I guess.
Here we go.
Oh my God. All right. Woohoo.
now I see Lynn.
I don't hear it starting up. Oh, here we go.
I'm looking at Lynn right now.
Lucky you.
It flies better.
I see it. There it goes. Flies better when you don't hear it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Look at that. I've seen guys that don't fly control line that well.
Can you imagine what that nitro does to the foam?
Yeah.
That is amazing. Look at that. So cool. Little.
Picking up speed.
Yeah.
Hey, that one got it off.
Was that a wreck?
No, it landed.
Did you guys get to see that? Did it share properly or not?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was kind of herky
That was
jerky.
great.
Okay.
It was herky jerky, but
Really?
So yeah, Bollinger and those guys, man, they had a hoot with that thing, and we're gonna do more of that if we have the Nats again this year. Everybody's gonna bring some free flight junk just to fly, last hour of the day just for screwing around while we're having a beer or whatever. But $5
Oh,
phone,
for shits and giggles.
Hobby Lobby airplane, man. that was awesome. Well, that's good, Sam. Let me see.
Ryan's got his plane back together.
You need to.
You got the battery in it?
Is that?
Yeah.
You need to loosen. Why is that like that?
I think your sound's turned off, Ryan.
Oh, there you go.
Speaking of testers, I saw on Facebook tonight somebody had one of those single channel testers, radio controlled planes, but they had a Cox Golden Bee, for power. Not a Testers 049. They had a Golden Bee on them.
much better choice.
I was saying that I was saying that the nose it's on a plane, the fuselage has been replaced. I'm good to go. Next part is to figure out maybe some details about where I'm going to put my switch and the arming plug. But other than that, I think I'm pretty much done. All I have to do right now, transplant all of this hardware that was on the other plane, put it on this plane now, and I should be good to go.
What kind of timer are you going to use on it?
Same one was before.
I figured you'd say yours. That was a joke.
No, I get it now, Steve. But yeah, I'm gonna use the same one that I used before.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So when are you going to enter it in balloon bust?
so one thing that I really want to do before I do anything, you see how I mounted this one, this control horn. Can you guys see it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
If you use these ball rings, this is the wrong way to do it. You want to see, you want to be able to see that aluminum on the outside. The idea is that if the aluminum pops off, this will fall out, right?
Yeah.
If you put it the other way around, like I have it here in the flaps, for example, you see that? If aluminum pops off, it's still staying there. I mean, nothing is going to come off. So this is the only caveat for using this kind of a control push rod things.
I have experience with light box bust, not balloon bust.
Okay.
So like if
Say that
you
again,
want a
Bill.
bigger piece of wood across here, bigger piece of wood across there, and tape it.
Well, guys, I'm out of here.
See what I'm saying?
I'll see everybody Friday.
Yeah.
Hi, Steve.
Yeah, me too,
All right, take it
Steve.
easy, Steve.
There he
See,
is.
Steve.
Yeah, I'm heading out.
Take it easy, guys. Yeah, me too. Good night, guys.
Good night.
See you
Good night.
Friday.
A bunch of
Yeah,
We'll see you out Friday.
I betcha.
not even 11 o'clock, man.
Work tomorrow.
Sleepyhead.
Oh yeah.
Work at 7.
Yeah.
Oh, mercy.
So do I.
So, Lynn, are all
More
the
wings to cover.
employees at your store masking up? Oh, Lynn's gone.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Well, I'm still here. Anybody else working on anything?
What you doing, Eddie? I don't think Eddie's with us. Can you hear me, Eddie?
He's smearing something there.
Hey, Eddie, can you hear me? Nah, I think he's hanging by a thread.
Oh, he's moving now. Can you guys hear me?
I heard that. Yeah.
You heard that? Okay.
Yeah,
I've
now
been
I hear
talking
you.
all night. Didn't know you guys could hear me.
No, I hadn't heard you say hardly anything at all.
Oh,
That's
that
odd.
explains it. Yeah.
We'll have to
Well, I keep switching
check
this
the
computer
rerun.
from my office to the garage. And so I have
A lot
different
of
settings in the
times it'll
garage.
be
So that's
recorded on YouTube when it doesn't show up here, so it might not be lost forever. We just weren't responding to you.
Hey,
What's
John,
up, Charles?
Can you wake up, John? Hey, same old, same old. Been
Everybody out at the same
taking care of
time.
the
Wake
wife
up,
and
John.
kids.
Wake up, John. Wake up. John, wake up. Wake up, John. Everybody, come on. Wake up, John.
Wake up, John.
Wake up, John.
Wake up,
Hey,
John.
John.
Wake up, John.
Woo! John
Wake up,
Miller.
John.
John Miller.
Wake up, John.
Up.
Wake up, John.
John Miller,
He's
wake
out.
up.
Wake up, John.
That's worse than Lynn
Wake
was
up,
the other
John.
night. Lynn came right too
Wake
when
up,
we
John.
started doing that to him.
I think
He's, you know
he's
what?
in REM sleep.
John's grayed out. He's not even hooked up. So he might not be asleep after all.
Oh, okay.
What you working on so hard back there, Rob?
Goes.
We'll just cover another one of those wings. Got this one just about done. 2 more to go out of the 8. Just covering with Dr. Paper and thin white glue.
Remind me, what kind of wing is
You're
that?
like a combat. You're like a combat builder, John. Robert.
That wing is bigger
Oh,
than
I
he
guess
is.
so. It's an RST, so they're kind of combat planes, I guess. Started out that way.
We got a lot of carbon
We
fiber.
got Trey and holding up this revolution there.
There you go.
All fixed. Ready to fly.
All fixed. All I have to do is just put the stuff inside of it, and that's it. It's ready to
And
go.
then find another toolbox.
Nice.
And don't forget to take a white rag to the field and throw it down for your marker. They probably wouldn't appreciate him using an orange paint circle on their grass out there at the soccer field.
Yeah. Well, what's nice about this right now is that I have a lighter fuselage on the back side, so as the CG is going to move forward a little bit, I can move my battery forward a little bit. That's why I put the new nose on it. And the landing gear, it's put in the right position right now. It's lower, which is going to raise my nose up, which means I don't get to do this to my props anymore. You see that?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
see that.
Yeah.
It's shoot up.
That's a good idea.
So that's why I replaced the
good
whole
idea.
thing. Now I'm gonna have a little bit better tracking plane, and it's gonna fly just as good as before, if not better. So I can't
Is
wait.
that one of your propellers?
Hmm?
Is that one of your propellers, Trey?
Yeah. Yep. When I made the first one, I made a mistake because what happened is that I was measuring. Hang on. I was measuring from this parting line here around the bottom of it to see where the land gear is going to be positioned. So I measured like, I think it was 1.5 inches or so. And I said, well, great. I have a 3/4 inch tape. I'm going to put 2 pieces of tape side by side so I know exactly where to position it, right? Idea is perfect. Only the tape was a 1 inch instead of 3/4. So I put my landing gear actually 1/2 inch higher than where it should be. So my nose dropped down 1/2 inch.
Wow. Okay.
So you should see the look on my face when we are like, less than a week before the Nats, and everything is assembled, and I'm putting the propeller for the first time, and I'm spinning the propeller and it's hitting the ground. I was like, what the? I said, what the hell just happened here? Right? And I said, how did I get it so wrong? And well, go figure.
That sounds like something I might do.
Yeah. So
how do you decide how far forward to put the landing gear?
Well, I was anticipating a certain position for the CG, and I just did it on CAD, and I moved it like 15 degrees forward from the CG.
Yeah.
It turns out the
Is
CG
it different? Is it different for grass and pavement? Ideally, would it be better to have them set farther back for pavement?
Actually, this landing gear is made so it's asymmetric. So if I take the wheels and I flip them 180 degrees, it's actually moving them backwards a little bit.
That's pretty cool. Do you do that if you change surfaces?
Actually,
Or
I
do you
never
not worry about it?
Yeah, after all this flying, I never needed it. Was never an issue.
Mm.
I can fly off of grass and off of pavement just as good. I mean, really didn't care about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, me personally, I don't feel a difference. I don't feel the need for that at all.
I use what we call the redneck method of adjusting where my landing gear go. I stand straddling the plane and look straight down over the lead edge, and if I can see about half the wheel sticking out, I'll bolt it down right there.
Yeah, I think I got this from Murnowski because when he was making something, I think he told he was talking about this 15 degrees rule. It was like having 15 degrees in front of the CG. So
Yeah.
that's what he said.
I think
Now,
I've heard 15 or 17 somewhere too. That might
yeah,
be where I heard it.
yeah. What I ended up with is much more than 15 degrees because my CG is so far back. I mean, just like my CG is still about here somewhere. Okay, so if you look at me, I have about 30 degrees forward now compared to that. But I never anticipated the CG to be so far back and to work there as well. Actually, when we flew it the first time, I was balancing the plane and I had an axi motor on it, one of those axi motors, that the F2B motors, and the plane was
Mhm.
too tail heavy. And I said, I'm not gonna do this because it's too dangerous. So that's the reason for which
Right.
I switched to the bigger motor immediately for the first flight. And it turned out to be the right decision, and we never went back to the axis ever.
Yeah.
We had no need for that.
Well, you finally decided bigger's better anyway.
Yeah, that's how we figured it
You
out after all, you know. Was a good mistake, you know.
Yeah.
And in Romania, it's a saying "prosta fi noroc că ești." In translation is it's you are a dummy, but lucky that you are a dummy, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
or the American expression would be the I take luck over skill anytime.
That's
so,
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
so that's what happened actually. It was lack over skill.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's that. So
'Cause I remember you were talking about when you decided that more engine is always better than small when you do the engine battery combination, and you just can't have too much horsepower torque. You know.
Triad.
yeah,
The American. Nobody's heard that shithouse.
Say it again.
I said the American expression is shithouse luck.
I'm not familiar with that one. I'm more familiar with.
No one's familiar with that?
I'd rather be. No, I'm familiar with. Just lucky than to be good. I'd rather be lucky than good. I've heard that before. Yeah.
Well, I guess I travel in the gutters.
Up
then.
here.
That must be a Tennessee thing. I'll take luck over
Shithouse Luck's
skill any
coming up
day.
here too.
yeah. So yeah, it looks good, man. This looks good. I'm happy, and I think I'm lighter
does
than
look
I was before by a couple of ounces at least.
Wow. Well, that's good too. That's a win-win-win.
Might be more because the nose was painted too, so I lost some weight in the nose as well. So I don't know. It looked great. I think I'm gonna paint some stripes on it, put a canopy on it, and just keep it simple and just call it a day. I'm not gonna try to put any kind of high tech finish on it or anything like that. I'll just wait for the next plane to do that.
Probably a good way to go.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. Next one, I'm gonna try to do the painting inside the mold.
Yeah, when you get ready to do that, maybe you can talk about it again, because I forgot exactly how it works, but that'll give you an opportunity to give us another lesson on that. That's pretty cool work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. So, because I'm gonna reuse all the old parts on this new plane, then the new set of parts that I was going to use on this one, they're gonna go on the next plane, which is cool because we have a limited amount of parts. So I'm glad. I'm glad for that. Anyways, but it's just like we planned it because the parts are truly interchangeable. When I glue the spars and the hard points for this plane, I just use some fixtures that I made, and I just put them in position. And when this happened, all I had to do just take the wings off the old one and put in the new one, and off you go. Not an issue at all.
That's
That
great.
cowl that didn't fit up quite right was from another plane, wasn't it?
What?
Was that cowl that you had when we first came on the show, and it was a little bit too narrow? Was that a cowl from another plane, or was that the same one that was originally on this plane?
Uh, that one was. I only had two cowls, so two noses, if you want to call it like that. But if I take
Yeah,
this
that's what
nose
I'm
off
talking
and I
about.
put the old one in there, it's gonna fit just fine. There's no change between them. The only thing that's gonna change maybe the pins that hold the nose in place. I may have to readjust them, fine tune them a little bit, maybe a turn or so.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Okay.
That's all I'm changing. Nothing else. And the fit between the wings and the fuselage base and everything, the fit is just perfect. Perfect everywhere. I mean, it's just that's how we build the mold. That's the design parameters that I set before I even got started. And that's interchangeable parts. Those are one of the design parameters. So as we make parts in the future, if I decide to change a wing or something like that, I can just take the wing off, put the new wing in place, and go fly. And the only thing I cannot hold consistent is the distance from the locking mechanism to the parting line, wherever they meet. I mean, it
Right.
varies within
Yeah.
like 15, 20 thousandths of an inch or so. So we're talking 3, 4 pieces of paper side by side. That's the most, and it's in a place where you can just easily adjust it. But yeah, that's how it works. That's how it was all designed and the whole concept behind it.
Charles, what's going on in your workshop?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
You talking to him?
Yeah, right now I'm in my office, but in my shop, I was working on I was making lines again, and also working on the Strega still, the fuselage. I did some more work on the nose ring, supporting it, and I'm actually going to put some formers in it because I realized what Wendy Nasky wanted to accomplish. Because the plane doesn't have a total deck, it needs additional support. I was watching a Wendy Wanowski build on the Strega, and so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to put the blocks on. So Making
Yeah,
progress slowly.
I remember you saying the other night about how many formers it had in it.
Yeah,
I remember watching Wendy out of Flushing Meadow Park with his Strega. He had just finished
Yeah.
designing it. He was going to go campaign it in the Nats.
Right.
And I remember him doing loops. And I just remember him doing every single loop was getting consecutively lower and lower and lower until he smacked it into the asphalt at Flushing Meadows.
Oh no!
Yes.
What happened? Did something fail?
He ripped the landing gear out of it, but that was about the only damage he did. But I remember that so
So he,
vividly.
so he pancaked it on the third loop. Is that
Yes.
it? So,
Wow.
man,
He
I thought you were
did.
gonna say he had a hardware failure or something.
yeah, that's strange. Not to say I couldn't do it, but
He was
Yeah,
just
we're all
bringing
could-
the bottoms lower and lower. I guess he was trying to hit that 5 foot mark, and the Strega must have been like a brand new, brand new. He would just probably pulled it off the drawing board shortly before that, and
Wow.
he was there with it.
yeah,
And I remember he pancaked it. Very
probably
solid.
probably a good idea to start high and see how they grow.
Wow. Yeah, that
That's
didn't
why
make the video.
you always
I
take a
did not have
picture
a
of it before you fly it.
I might be okay with that day.
Who knows? It might have been on the video. I only have 22 of those Strega videos, but there were more than that. So maybe that's why I didn't see that part.
No, nobody was taking any pictures that day. I can't. He was out there with a couple of other gentlemen. I can't remember who the hell. Oh, Vic Macaluso was out there, and somebody else. I just can't remember. Yeah, Vic Macaluso was out there with his Tsunami, and I can't remember who else. So it was Wendy, Vic Macaluso, and someone else. I just can't remember who it
Well,
was.
his flying buddies was John DeTavio and Rick Jacobone. Those were his primary. He called them the wild hogs. John DeTavio and Rick Jacobone.
Hey,
Could have
check this
been.
out if you guys want to see it.
Yeah.
This is on my control system. If you remember,
Yeah.
there's the
Yeah.
ball bearing that's
Click on the
adjustable.
picture if you want to make it big.
It has like a locking mechanism here with the
Nice.
screw. So what I do, I just release it and then I can slide it in and out, which is going to change the way it responds. And then on this side,
Wow.
I have the same locking mechanism over here, and the push rod can be moved closer or farther away from the pivot point, right?
Right.
So I can adjust how much throw I have at any time. Also, this will adjust the amount of expo I have in it, and this will adjust how much throw I have on a push rod. So they're independent of each other. One
Right. So
controls
you have
how
two
much.
push rods.
What?
And that's obviously the push rod for the elevator, obviously, right?
Yes.
And then you have another push rod that has the same mechanism on the end. That one goes to the flap.
Exactly. Yeah. Just shorter.
Very nice.
This is the flaps one.
Very nice.
And,
so those things, they sandwich the bell crank?
I'm sorry?
Those two things sandwich the bell crank?
Yeah, the bell crank is gonna go like this in here, right?
Okay. Right.
So when you move the bell crank here.
Nice.
So when you move the bell crank, this push rod is gonna move. So I have mechanical advantage. Right now I have it almost maxed out. The ball bearing is close to the base here. So I have a lot of mechanical advantage over here. And as soon as I give it the control, I have so much power on it, the control surface is moving instantaneously without delay.
That's very nice.
So that's.
I think that's like cheating, Cheyenne.
I like cheating.
I know, but it's like cheating. It's so far advanced what anybody else has.
And this is the bell crank. Remember it? The take apart, and this is
Yeah.
the pin on which the
Oh,
push rods
yeah.
go, and has almost no
Right.
wear.
Wow, that is amazing.
So what I do, I just take the loop from that thing, I just put it over, and I close it,
You covered, yeah.
and this
Wow,
stays
that
complete.
is amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's why I can put the wing on in a minute or so. So
Yeah,
that's.
Drawings or
that's
anything for
amazing, Cheyenne.
I'm happy. I mean, it's like I was thinking about doing like an Igor Burger kind of system, and Mark McKinney was kind of pushing me for it. But when I saw how well it flies like this, I said, nah, why bother? You know?
Yeah.
Besides, I didn't have my job anymore, so I can't make parts no more. So that's that. And this is another
Ryan, do
thing
you
that
have
I
any
took
drawings?
off of. It's my spinner.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's a custom-made spinner for the
That's
plane.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
It weighs 30 grams, 32 grams, like you see it. And that's
The
with the
light is
adapter.
making it almost appear white.
That's with
The
the
light's
adapter
making
in
it
it.
white almost.
But is it AMA legal?
It's very legal. We call it the Madonna spinner.
Yeah, but didn't the AMA like you had the top flight. I forget who the heck was making them now. Vico spinners, the needle nose spinners. Didn't the AMA kind of outlaw those or something years back?
Oh yeah, I remember there was something about that. You're right. I'm trying to remember the specifics, but there was something about the point. I think there was a requirement on the point.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah,
remember the particulars.
I don't know.
Which of course
I don't know if it was AMA, but they're not legal in F2B. In FAI stunt, there's actually a radius that the spinner has to be for FAI for like world championship stuff in F2B. That may be where you're going with the spinner thing. AMA, I mean, you can run a V spinner, anything, the needle nose spinners, but FAI definitely has. They actually have a radius gauge that goes on the spinner at the World Championships in an FAI. It has to be a certain radius, so you can't use a needle nose spinner there.
Okay.
Are you familiar with that try-in in F2B?
Not over there. I know in gliders they have one, but I didn't know the one in the control line. I mean, in control line, it's not like having an RC plane that can hit someone else. If there's a rule over
No,
there,
but
it might be. I
there's a
don't know
whole
about it.
there's a whole thread on Stunthangar about spinners for F2B. There's a thread there. Like if you're going to go compete in an FAI event in F2B, the spinner has to be a certain radius, and they actually have a gauge. And I want to say around 2000 or 2005, there was a big stink over the radius gauge and who was legal and who wasn't legal and stuff like that. If you search it up, you can read it. It's been a while since I read it, but there is absolutely an F2B a radius for the spinner, or there was at that time, and it caused a lot of friction for the U.S. team when they went over there years ago.
I only mention it because I do recall that all of a sudden Vicos just stopped making their needle nose spinners, and they still made the other ones, but the needle nose spinners just became unavailable.
Yeah. But they're beautiful. I mean, those the needle nose spinners are just beautiful, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, shit.
Well, and
No doubt
they
about
look,
it.
Let's say
'cause
I
they
understand it. I understand it
look
if you are in a
dangerous.
competition where I understand the rule if you're in a competition where like you can hit somebody like an RC event, you know, you can hit somebody. But when you have so much control of what your plane is, with all this line tension, safety, and all this other stuff, you know, I don't see why the stink. Anyways, if I ever go in FIA, I'll worry about it. Until then, screw it.
It's
Yep,
like
screw it.
this is about as good. This is about as good as you can get commercially nowadays.
Hey, John's back.
That's a true turn.
Yep.
Hey, John. We thought you'd fallen
How
asleep
you
and all
doing?
started hollering at you, but you were
Yeah, now
offline.
that's a oh.
No, I wasn't getting any sound or any picture. Everybody was black.
Oh,
So I went out and reset, came back in, and I had picture, but I had no sound. So I went in and had to mess with that. Finally got sound back.
oh. Did you hear us yelling
I like
at you
that
to wake
picture,
up?
Rob.
No, I was
Did
wide
you hear
awake.
us yelling at you to wake up?
Nope,
Hey, John,
no
did you get
sound, no
your engine
picture.
back?
It came just the other day. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Looks like you fell
Thank
asleep.
you.
No, I didn't fall asleep.
Thank you, John.
All right.
You bet
I
you,
see a
Charles.
proper plane on this plane.
So that's an old Vico spinner on my SV11 I'm together.
Uh-huh. Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tell me you're flying that.
So that's out of my old. It's an SV11 ARF.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Great plane.
With a Super Tiger 56.
Yep. That's the type of plane that on which I learned how to fly stunt. The whole pattern. I mean.
And then I put together while we were talking the first mock-up, first assembly on the first of these rugged stunt trainers that are uglier than sin, all scratch built. So I think I got a pretty good fit on
I
it.
agree with you on that one.
It looks like a magician.
So this is the first of 8 of them. I've changed it a bit. I noticed the trailing edge was so fragile that I just today I just put on a spruce strip of them.
Good idea.
And instead of having that splice in the nose that they had, all that lots of potentially weak areas in the kits, the fuselage is one piece solid poplar.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also added on a sub fin because the kit design just had the horn dragging on the ground. I didn't think that was a very good thing, and I needed something to hook onto a stage anyway, so I grooved in a sub fin into it out of aircraft ply.
I actually like it.
They should be hell for stout.
I like the way it looks. That sub fin is good.
So I'm glad all the jig thing paid off for fit.
Uh-huh. What I don't understand when you have
And what I did for the cockpit.
What I don't understand is if you have an SV11, why do you fly that and build that?
Because you can.
Because I don't know how to fly the pattern.
So
I'm just
what?
learning.
Because it's learn it on the SV. Much better, much easier than anything else.
Lots of building.
You don't get it.
I'm going through this, and then I must stop the SV11, and then I'll go after all my other ones.
Okay.
I've got probably 40 or 50 planes kicking around to finish it off, half a dozen stunters. So, but
Bill, you're right to build all those
RSTs
RSTs when you learn the pattern. Fly those RSTs till you learn the pattern.
Yeah,
then
I
fly
figure
your
I've got
ST.
5 of them that
You fly them anyway. It's a plane. You just go out there. You don't care if
Exactly.
it smacks into the ground. You don't care
Got
what
3 of
the
them
heck
that I'm doing
happens to it.
on
You just have a
Flow and
ton of
2 on
fun.
Bladder.
Can you? Can you fly inverted? Do outside loops?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
I
If you
can
fly-
do outside loops and usually fly inverted, but I don't get more than a lap out of it.
Okay, then fly the
So
trainer
I've
for
got a
now.
ways to go.
I agree. Fly the trainer for now. And by the way, if you just learn how to fly recently, fly a lot of inverted, a lot of it. Spend most of the flight inverted.
That's if
Yeah,
you
well,
want to
I'm
learn how
back
to
at it after
compete.
45 years away from it.
Uh-huh. As you know, it's whatever's comfortable for you. I mean, don't push it farther than you know
Yeah,
you
I'm going to
can.
fly these for a while. Plus, I got my flight streak, my cosmic wind. I've got a whole slew of profiles to fly around too. So
Yeah.
So no shortage of airplanes to use.
Yeah. Well, you know, my point is that the better the plane, the easier it is to learn.
Not
Are you
true.
gonna go?
That's what I hear.
No,
Are you planning
not
on flying
true.
in contest?
That is not true.
Oh, eventually.
That's bad advice. If you can't fly inverted and you're still getting screwed up on your outsides and flying upside down, a better airplane isn't going to make you not make the wrong decision and pilot dirt when you're upside down.
Mike, that's why I was advising him after that. I revised my advice. I said fly the trainer. I said that after
Right.
that. I corrected it.
A better plane won't make you any good if you don't know up from down and you get confused in a maneuver. And a better plane ain't going to make you better if it don't stay out on the lines with a ton of line tension in the overhead stuff. A fast, smaller airplane that flies faster and has a shit ton of line tension, especially in the overhead 8s and the vertical 8, it's got to stay out on the lines and it's got to pull, because if it's a trimmed out stunt plane that's the right way, everything's very, very light on it. And for somebody new, if it's too light, they're going to lose it in those maneuvers. You need ton of engine offset. It's got to pull like a truck until you can just fly through all that stuff. I mean, that's just my 2 cents, man. A light, trimmed, perfectly flying stunt plane is not how you learn to fly stunt. A newbie needs line tension. It needs that airplane to stay out there till they get the confidence to be able to fly the airplane through the maneuver. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, exactly. Who cares what it looks like?
Hey,
as
Mike,
long
I
as
want to
get
bug you
through
for
it.
another 2 cents.
Peter, do
My
you
first plane that I learned.
Peter, do you agree with that?
Absolutely. Who cares what it looks like as long as you can get through it?
It's got to stay out there. It's got to stay out.
Oh yeah, the worst thing is to have something that is light on the lines and the overheads. That just terror.
Right.
That's basically terrifying.
And that comes later with better airplanes. So that's all I'm saying, Tryon. That's my argument against flying better airplanes. Fly the junkers that stay out there till you figure out how to get that stuff through the maneuver without hitting the ground. That's all I'm saying. There's no argument that better airplanes make better pilots for sure. But for someone who's just learning and starting off with the full pattern, a top level intermediate or advanced airplane is not going to help a beginner flyer who's learning the pattern. It's not. You got to go through other stuff. Go ahead, John Miller. I see you got your hand up there.
Yeah, it's basically what you have invested.
Go ahead, John. I'd like to hear from
Thanks.
you.
When I was beginning to learn the pattern way back when, I started out with a Sterling Mustang.
Yep.
You know, and that I learned to do loops, and I learned to fly upside down, and I learned to do lazy eights and that with it. But what really got me to where I could fly the pattern was after the Mustang, I went to a flight streak.
Yeah, yep.
And the flight streak was head and shoulders above the Mustang. And I learned the pattern really on that flight streak. But I got my basics on that Sterling Mustang. Now,
Right.
what that's saying is going with what you were saying, Mike. You need a plane that will do the maneuvers. It doesn't necessarily have to do them the prettiest, and it does. You just have to learn how to do it with them.
Right.
Going to the flight streak was what polished it for me, and from there I went to a Nobler, and with the Nobler, then I really began to learn how to fly the pattern, or polish the pattern. Let's put it that way. So there's value in what you're saying, Mike.
I agree, John. And what I'm getting at is like the better stunt planes you get, there are so many nuances with when you're flying a control line airplane with in precision aerobatics, like where you're at and where the wind is and how high you are and where you're coming around. Not every airplane is going to stay out on the lines. And if you fly it into the wrong place, you're going to get into trouble and you're going to crash. You're going to crash it because if you go in the wrong area in a maneuver, it's just going to go away. Hell, that's why I started teaching Stam the stunt pattern on flipping speed limit combat planes. You know why? They only go 75 miles an hour, but they pull like a truck and they stay out no matter where you're flying. They're out. They're out. There's tension. It doesn't matter. If he makes a mistake and he ends up in the wrong place with the wind, he still has line tension. He has control of the airplane. With a trimmed out stunt plane, if you fly into the wrong area, you're going to lose the airplane. That's all I'm saying.
Well, Mike, I see the value in what you're trying to teach, but what that Mustang taught me was to pay attention to where the wind is.
Sure. Right.
And by learning early to pay attention where the wind is, got me through the first hurdle of flying the stunt pattern.
John, you're absolutely right. But again, that's one of those nuances that come with flying stunt. You can't just always depend on the 5 to 6 mile an hour breeze and doing all your maneuvers in the perfect place every time. Those nuances that come with feeling when the airplane's getting loose and what's your reaction going to be? Do you back up? Do you move your arm in? Do you turn harder? There's a lot of nuances that come with flying, and you got to learn those.
Absolutely.
And learning that pattern and putting those maneuvers and which way to make the airplane go upside down, this way, inside, outside, over your head, behind your head, all that comes easier if you have a bunch of line tension to do it. And then as you fly more and more and more, you can ease up on the line tension and get a better trim flying airplane. And then you understand, listen, if I do that outside over here too far on the into the wind side, it's going to run it into the ground and I got or the same thing. If I go up in my vertical 8 and I get blown out of it because I got no and then you don't know what to do and you crash the airplane. It takes a long time for that stuff to become natural. It's like a natural instinct to fly in the wind and see what the airplane's doing and respond to it. And it's just easier to do it when the airplane's pulling on your hand, I think. That's all I'm saying. That's my 2 cents, and that's how I'm raising my boy. Line tension is our friend, man.
Yeah, John. Yeah, John.
Yes,
you and me both. I had a Sterling Mustang, basically, is what I learned on. And then I moved into a Midwest, what was it, the Midwest ME-109 after that.
Well,
I've still
what
got
are you
my
flying now,
Mustang,
Peter?
but it's changed a bit over the years.
What are you flying now, Peter?
I'm not flying anything right now. I just don't have anything built, to be honest with you. other than I started at Pathfinder.
Hey,
It's not finished. I basically just haven't had time. I just moved into Tampa, and I have so many things to do around the house. It's like incredible. So I'm not flying anything at the moment. But back in the day, that's what I started out was a Sterling Mustang, and I flew that to death until the wing area was too small to keep it stall out in every turn, and then I
Yeah.
just moved on to like
Yeah.
up from there.
hey, Will Davis
I
Well,
just
got my
came
Peter,
into
can I
YouTube
make a
and
suggestion?
sent a comment in.
Go ahead, Rusty.
He says,
All right.
Will Davis says non-flap profile trainer is the way to
Yeah,
go.
just saying, I've got
He agrees.
my Sterling Mustang here too, except it looks off. Yeah,
Yeah, I got
this
a
started out.
Sterling
Well,
Yak
that
9, which is about the same thing with a Fox 35.
that's what we had in the day back in the 50s to fly, to learn to fly on. But today is a different day, and a non-flap stunner is not a bad way to go. These like you say, the ugly stunt trainer or whatever that's not a bad way to go. Mike's way with a speed limit combat ship is not a bad way to go. As soon as you can fly your maneuvers, though, Peter, I would, or you feel comfortable, somewhat comfortable with it, I'd consider a franchise twister. That sets you up with a plane that's very capable and will set you up for your next foray. See that Pathfinder you got hanging on the wall is a top-notch stunt or competition stunt model, and you're not ready for it yet. You will be.
Yeah.
Can
will be someday, Peter.
Hold
But
on.
go ahead.
Hold on, just 1 second. I gotta find something here. Um, uh, John, you have to understand. I've been flying since 1970. No, more. Let's go back. 1969. I started out on a Mustang Stunter, and then I went to a Midwest Me 109. After that, a Sig Acrobat. After that, we can go on and on and on. The last plane that I built scratch was the Vector 40 from the Brodax Vector 40, and that plane was really, really sweet. But I've flown and built quite a few airplanes in between, so I know. I basically know the pattern. I've built and flown an Imperial, Sterling Imperial Ringmaster. What else? Geez, I can go back and quite a few airplanes. But the last one before the Pathfinder here, I showed. Oh yeah, the Sig Magnum. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I need to go. I need to go here, and I need to go. Hold on a second.
Like, hey, Peter, I think John got mixed up. We were talking about Bill learning the pattern, or I'm sorry, Robert.
Oh,
We were talking
Rob.
about Rob, not
Sorry about
Peter
that.
learning the pattern. I think we didn't questioning people.
Yeah.
The question was meant for Robert because he's the one building all the rugged stunt trainers and he has the SV and the other stuff. And I just want to say this to Robert. Robert, build those RSTs, fly the piss out of them, those elevator only profiles from Phil, those foam wing planes you're building. They are great. That is what my son learned to fly the pattern on. Put a bunch of engine offset in them, get a lot of line tension, and fly the hell out of them, and learn to fly where you need to fly to do maneuvers before you start trying to crank out the pattern on that SV. Get comfortable with those RSTs. They're great airplanes, fully capable of flying the entire pattern, but learn how to fly it and where you need to be and what you need to do in different conditions before you try to fly the pattern on the SV. That's all I will say.
Oh,
The R's are
Mike,
great
I'm
things.
sorry.
They're fantastic.
Yeah,
Well,
did
Peter, I didn't mean.
because no reference to that in the past instructions.
Guys, I'm tired. My eyes are closing. So, good night.
Right.
Good night.
Good night, Fran.
Good.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah,
night,
John.
guys. Take it easy, man.
John, that's me with my Sig Magnum. So just to get you up to date.
All right. I think I apologize. I remember seeing you laying on the ground with a broken Sig Magnum by your side. I can't see anybody's shared pictures right now. But still, if you haven't built and flown anything for a while, I wouldn't jump into something like the Magnum or a top notch competition airplane right at first.
Yeah, that was.
Would you think that would be wise?
Yeah, that was me with the broken Magnum.
Yeah, that wasn't me. My
Yeah. Oh, that was you. Okay.
My personal feeling on control line is that hey, I will build a pretty airplane and I will build it as best as I can. And if I plow it into the ground within 2 months, a week or 2 days or whatever between the time I build it and the time I fly it, so be it. I'll just build another one. It's not. How would I say? Some people turn around and they invest a lot of time and a lot of effort into building these models. I will spend a lot of time and a lot of effort building them, but in the long run, it's fun for me. It's basically it is something that's fun. It's not something that is. I'm not one of these. I'm not a competition, but I'm not somebody that's going to go out and try to win contests. For me, it's go out, have a pretty airplane, fly the shit out of it. If it crashes, it crashes. I'll build another one. That's my philosophy on the whole thing.
Amen.
Pretty cool.
Peter, I understand that, and I have to somewhat agree with you. If you look over my shoulder there, that red, white, and blue airplane, you see the wings sticking up?
Yep.
That's the very first full-body Pathfinder, designed and built in 1993 or 94, excuse me. Flew it at the Nats in 95. Anyway, but it's different than the one you got on the wall.
Hey, Rob, are you planning on getting to where you can fly in contests? Is that your goal?
Always have wanted to, just got away from it for all those decades. So
Yeah,
that's the goal.
okay.
Work my way up to it this year.
It's a lot of fun. I was
Good,
just wondering.
but the SIG doesn't seem to be shipping anything. I was going to fancierize a twister. I'd build it from scratch, but I can't get any wood. So I've got to go a kit route if I want one of them. I've got the plans for the fancierized twister.
Okay, I was about to ask you because I got a roll of an already fancierized twister. If you need that, it's from Walter Rumlin.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't catch all that, Rusty. It was kind of tinny.
I said if you need a fancierized twister plan, I've got one from Walter Rumlin that I'd be willing to give you. I think I got a couple of extra ones I made copies of.
No, I've got a copy, but thanks. I just had one printed actually just before all this shutdown.
Okay.
Yeah. The PDF for that's available on Hip Pockets Aeromodeling.
Mine's got a big fat cheek cowl on it. I'd recommend doing that. A lot of them don't
I
have
do that on
but-
all my profiles.
Yeah, and mine's got a cheek cowl on both sides. The engine and tank look like they're recessed, but they're really not. The cowl just surrounds some of them. But it's as wide as you can legally get in the front end, and that
Yeah,
holds
I've
it
done
really
that actually
stiff.
way back in the 60s, put cheek cowls on. You know, people complain about Fox 35s and vibration. When I put the cheek
Yeah.
cowls on and fiberglassed them, I never had any vibration problems. So I think
No.
people go about it wrong sometimes and blame me.
I like that's the only plane I've ever built that's got the cowls on the outboard and inboard side, and I think it really is a good idea. It works really well.
Yeah. These RSTs sort of do too. I'll show you that again.
You guys have a lot of background noise.
Built up with
Yeah,
Yeah.
I keep hearing a woman chattering or something.
Okay.
Do y'all hear that?
Something
woman
like a
We
mouth.
got a little crossover. We got a little crossover. Got a little crossover, Rusty.
Yeah, that's
Somebody
what it
else.
is.
Okay, I thought it was mine.
I don't know if
John?
you can see that, Rusty.
John, do you see what I'm doing here, man?
Yeah.
Stitching.
Hang on.
You're
just a
sewing on.
second, Rob, I'm
You're
enlarging
sewing
it.
on.
I'm
You're sewing it
still
on.
waiting. Okay,
Yeah.
now I can see. Hold it up where I can look now.
Oh, you're
That's
talking
it.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how my twister is.
Yeah.
And that's a half inch, isn't it?
What's that?
Yeah. My only problem is that I'll get a 4.5 tank and hadn't been able to get one that'll fit in there. You've modified the wing behind that, hadn't you?
Are you talking to me, Rusty, or Mike?
If you got right there where it's going, you.
I think we're sounds really going bad.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe everybody refresh their page. Just refresh.
Yeah, I got to anyway. Okay.
Okay.
all right.
I don't really know how to refresh it on an iPad.
Yeah, I wouldn't know how either. But Rob, I had a question for you, Rob.
Yeah.
Are you flying by yourself, or do you have another flyer with you?
Well, I haven't been out this year yet. I'm hoping to get out this week some. I was going to go out yesterday, but it was raining and miserable here. We got a pretty active club, and there's my wife to go out with me too. So it's we're pretty lucky
Here's
around
why I
here.
asked.
We've got a lot.
Is there somebody more advanced than you? That's what I'm asking, really.
Oh hell yeah! We got Ruth Harry and Ken Bird and Paul Jabot. We got all kinds of really experienced. I don't know if
I think one of the best pieces of advice
look
I
up
can
the
give a new
Alberta
person or a
Control
person
Line
getting
Model
back.
Club on. Oh yeah, they've been very helpful. Look up.
Okay, yeah. I
look
even
up
would
the
have.
Alberta Control Line Model Club on Facebook. We're really
Okay. Alberta Control Line Club.
yeah.
Okay. What I was going to recommend is just have an advanced pilot or higher fly your plane just to make sure it does not have any bad habits. Like especially turning inside
I
versus
had one of the
outside.
guys
Some planes turn.
after I maidened it, my rebuilt old Flight Streak, which I put adjustables on it and tip weight adjustment and all that. But anyway, I guess I built it pretty good because one of the guys flew it after I did and did the pattern with it and said there's no trimming to do on it at all.
Oh, great! Hey, well,
It's nice
that's
having
great
someone
because
that can really fly
I
them,
find
ring them
that
out.
yeah, that's what you want. That's what I do. I teach quite a few people to fly here, and they all incline for me to fly their plane anyways, just to make sure I don't want them to have any surprises, and I want it to be easy for them to fly. And so I'll set it up so that it's
Yeah.
easy to fly for them.
Hey, Charles.
Yeah,
Where are you located?
I'm located about 20 minutes north of San Diego.
Oh, you're on the
I'm in
West Coast.
California. I'm on
Okay.
the West Coast. Yep. Yeah. I think I've seen your treads on or threads. I mean on Stunthangar, right? Your last name is your Peter, and your last name is what?
Yes. Nevai, Nevai.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I like it. I've always liked that you contribute.
Yeah, I was wondering because you had mentioned Windy, and those are all the old East Coast guys.
Yeah, and I like the Strega, and I have a set of Windunowski videos on the Strega. I have all the videos on the build. I don't have some of the. I don't think I have any of the trim flights, but I have all the construction videos. There's like 22 of them, and I
Oh,
rely
yeah.
on it. I rely on it quite a bit when I want to do something. I just find the right VHS tape, unfortunately, and we'll see how he did it. Not that that's the best way to do it, but that is a way to do it. And I must have literally. I know I have at least 300 or 400 windy tapes. I mean DVDs and tapes. And I watch Sparky too. I really admire Sparky as well. I mean, there's some things I am hoping to incorporate from Sparky um, as well.
Yeah, it's just it was geez, it was back in the day, and that was even before Windy. You had on East Coast. I don't know who basically where it all started, but I was reading on Stunthanger. Bob Hunt has a book on Stunthanger about his design of the of his Caprice, and they
Yeah.
went back and it was discussing a lot of things a lot of history that went on back in the day on the East Coast with Gene Schaefer and Bob Lampione and Bill Simmons. And that was the group that I basically grew up with ultimately. And it was those are the people that kind of like patterned my stuff after, even though I never really got into competition. But I mean, these days it's not so unique. But when you go back in history and considering that, the airplanes of that time were 35 powered, and either was a Fox 35, or in the little bit later generations it was the OS 35 Max, and 35 sized airplanes. It was I still have a love for the smaller stunter. So typically my airplanes have always been most comfortable with was the 40 size or so on, which made me actually love the 40 size Brodak the Brodak Vector. It was just like so much fun flying those airplanes because it was once you had a 35 size stunter, which was roughly about 38 ounces on an airplane that was running well with an OS 35 max, and you got to go where you pointed it. It was just a joy. And back in the day, it was we didn't have the uh, the luxury of having now these days. People are flying 76, 80, 90, dot 90 cubic inch engines. I don't know. I just can't. For some reason, I can't relate at that size. I mean, the biggest I can relate to at this point is, like I said, the Sig Magnum, which will take a 50, like a 51 size engine. But anything larger than that, it's like I don't know. I just can't relate to that sort of flying anymore. Give me a good old 35 size airplane like the Jet Machine or the Genesis or any one of those, and I'd be damn well happy.
Yeah, those are definitely beautiful planes. And when I went to VSC, I had a lot of it, and I came back with a 38.5 ounce Olympic. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to trying some of those planes too. But my where I've done well is with these big planes, Stregas, and I have big, and I like it.
Hey, let me break in for a second, y'all. Hold your thoughts. I was just wanted to know, does anybody know Stephen Holt? He just joined us on YouTube and says he's a control line guy, and not sure where he is, but does Stephen Holt, does that sound familiar to anybody?
Where's he located?
I don't know yet, but he says this is his first time in the chat. Sounds like he knows all about planes. He's got flight streaks and all kinds of stuff. He sport flies, and let's see. I can't read everything he's written, but he sounds like he'd like to be one of us. So I'm waiting to see. I think he's a member of Stunthanger. Oh, I can get joined up.
Welcome,
And
Stephen.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome, Steve. So
yeah,
I'm
come
going
on
to
in.
get
We
you
need some
fixed
new
up.
blood, Stephen.
Yeah, it's too late. I'm about to close the show, but I'm going to get in touch with you. If you're a member of Stunthanger, tell me your name on Stunthanger. Is it Stephen Holt? And I can PM you and tell you how to get in.
Yeah, we need new blood. I'm getting tired of Charles's stories, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. We all get all these
It
stories
always
becoming
begins.
speech red.
Okay,
Charles' stories always
I'll
begin with Strega, Stalker, or that's about it.
Well, no. John, they also say 100-ounce airplane.
100-ounce airplane, yeah. It's a big wing.
Yeah, I know. Well, we'll see. Hopefully this new Strega will be hopefully this new Strega will be under 70 ounces, then somewhere between 65 and less than 70, I'm hoping.
That would be nice.
Yeah, the kit has some pretty good weight. I mean,
Charles
the
and I
blocks were.
Right.
What was that again, Rob?
In the meantime, I'm going to see if I can dig up the videos of
We had a pretty good chat.
Dave.
Yeah, we did.
It was 1:30 in the morning, I think, when we got down.
Yeah, I know. I'm still recovering from that. So I'm not going to stay up that late tonight.
John, you
I
still
got up
hinges,
at 7 or 8.
Old school, man.
So what, Mike?
You see those old school sewn hinges, man. They ain't going nowhere. This is one of Sammy's combat planes, one of his half-A combat planes. That ain't going nowhere, man.
I still like
They got
to
to be
use
for
over
this
under
boy
cloth
because he's
hinges.
right. Yeah,
I like to use over under cloth.
but I do over under cloth hinges on all our profiles, but on these combats with these Wackerman elevator, that's what we call it. It's a Wackerman style elevator where you got a balsa
Yeah.
substrate to go to a balsa elevator. You can't beat a sewn hinge, man. You just can't beat it. Can't beat it.
You're right. But if you know how to do cloth hinges on a stunt ship, you can make them so that they're barely noticeable.
Right, there's that. But on a combat plane, doping this, doping that, cloth hinges, dope all the way for a combat plane.
Oh no.
That took me 15 minutes, man.
For a combat plane,
Yeah.
for a combat plane,
Next
you
week's
do it
thing.
that way. It's the best way for the combat plane.
Yeah. You guys, I'm
Yeah.
gonna
And then there's
bounce.
my experiment.
I'm gonna go.
We'll see you, Charles.
I'll see
Where
you
you
guys.
See you
going?
later. See you
Where you
later,
going,
Charles.
I'm going down to my garage and get some work done before I go to bed.
All right.
Okay, Charles.
Looks like I got
Well, it's 10 o'clock where you're at.
Yeah, exactly. It's early for him.
Looks like I got everything I need from
Bring me
Steve
that.
Holt, so I'll be getting in touch with him.
Okay. Yeah, the whole thing.
Good.
Don't.
Hey, Mike, did those RSTs?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Robert. I'm going to pay full attention. Just go ahead and talk, and we'll get through it.
Yeah, do those RSTs need tip weight? Because there's nothing
Yes,
in the instructions about that.
Put a half ounce in the outboard wing. Just start with a half ounce, and you'll be safe.
Okay. Okay, I'll put an anchor block and just externally screw on weights then.
Well,
I can change it if I need to.
Can I show you something, Robert, real quick? Where's our bullet weights at, Sam? Hang on 1 second. Where's our bullet weights? Well, Robert, I think I might have used them all up with the planes that we just built recently. I wanted to show you, if you go to your local fishing supply store.
Oh, yeah.
They make a half bullet weight. It looks just like a lead bullet, and they're a half ounce exactly. And you can get a pack of 10 of them for like $4. But it's a half ounce bullet weight, so it's like it's God, I can't think of the size off the top of my head. It's not that big around, and it's only maybe 3/4 of an inch long, but it's got a point on it. It's a lead weight. They call it a bullet weight for fishing. And all you got to do is just drill a hole right in the core of your wing, just right in the tip of the wing. Use a 1/4-inch drill bit, and you just shove it in there and put a little epoxy over the top, and you're good. I wouldn't screw on with bolt-on weights or anything that bolts on or screws on. If you need tip weight in a foam wing, the easiest way to do it. Oh, there you go. The one all the way on the left, bullet weight, slip sinkers. Well, that's 1/16 of an ounce, but they have them in half ounce. And you bore a hole with your drill, you put it in there, put a little epoxy in it, and a little piece of fast cal over it, and you're done. But a half ounce is a great.
I'll see if I can get into a store tomorrow.
Starting point for the.
Yeah, thanks.
And then if you need to do any more than that, and you have, your standard lead weights like this, your square ones or whatever.
Yeah, they're
Since it's a
7
foam
grams.
wing, again, don't build a tip box, a weight box, or anything like that. Just cut a slit in the wing. Just cut a slit right behind the spar, and take your weight and shove it in there, and put a little epoxy over it, and put a piece of tape over it, and you're good. That's how us combat guys do it anyway. Foam wings are the easiest ones to put tip weights in. Just shove it in the foam, make a pocket, put a little epoxy, and put a little piece of tape over it. Unless you're worried about your finish and your covering and all that. And if you are, then you're way too anal about your airplanes. Shove it in there, epoxy it, tape it up, man.
Got it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and close the YouTube feed. I got everything I need from Stephen Holt, so hopefully he'll be joining us Friday. We're gonna get in touch tomorrow and figure it out. And so all you guys over on YouTube, it's a pretty good show over there tonight. So y'all take care. Thanks a lot, and we'll.
Hey, Rusty,
Friday.
did he say where he was from?
No, he didn't. Steve, if you're out there, tell us where you're from. And I'll
Just
wait
curious.
until he replies.
He might be close to one of us or somebody anyway, or a club, or
That's true. Good night, Jack Snavely.
See you, Jack.
See you, Jack.
I'll hang on before I close YouTube.
I'm gonna hang out. I'm gonna stay on if anybody else wants to. I'll hang
Okay.
out.
I'll stay on.
What did you just say? Rob, did you just say something?
Yeah, I'm going to shut down early tonight too. So I'll catch you guys
Okay,
Friday.
man.
Okay.
It ain't that early. You're still officially a diehard. So, all right, man. We'll see you Friday.
It's 11 o'clock. Fairly early for
Oh,
me.
it's 1:07 here. So, an hour and 7 minutes difference.
Thanks for doing this again, Rusty.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming. Good night.
Yeah.
Good night.
Man, that CrossFit.
I hear you
sounds
guys
like
stay
fun.
late, Rusty.
What'd you say, Mike? Say it again, Mike.
Did you guys stay on late Friday night? Did you stay on late Friday night?
Friday night. Let's see. We did kind of. Yeah, I think it was after. It was after 1:30, I think. Because I remember not getting in bed.
I had house guests. I popped in. I had house guests over, but I popped in and had my wife sitting on my lap there for.
Yeah, yeah, we had a decent show.
Good.
Steve's not answering about where he's located, so he must not still be out there. I'm gonna go ahead and close it out.
Well, hopefully,
Okay,
hopefully he's close. Hopefully he's close to some other guys, and we can get him hooked up with some local guys somewhere in the state.
Yeah, maybe so. That'd be cool. It's always nice getting new people. All right, here we go. Going to stop the stream in just a second. So all of you guys, see you Friday. Same bat time, same bat channel. Good night.
Good night, Rusty.
Good night.
I think I'm going to leave too.
You gonna leave too?